Morning and welcome to the Fumble Sports pregame show for NFL Week 16. Doing all we can to help you cash tickets and win your fantasy matchups for this week of NFL action. A lot of action today on this Christmas Eve. We're getting a majority of our games this week on Saturday instead of Sunday. So settle in. We have 3 hours of live action for you on YouTube and TikTok Live. Make sure you're following us and subscribing at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Here to answer all of your questions. Thank you so much for getting up and joining us on this TikTok Live and on YouTube. We'll answer all of your fantasy questions over the next 3 hours. Also, do want to make you aware, we're going to do our polls like we always do. Every time we hit another 5,000 likes, we have a list of poll questions that we'll give out to you. They're usually attached with a bet or a player prop bet that we like as well. But that said, happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Settle in, 3 hours of fantasy football and NFL talk. Really excited and appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. Gonna jump right into the chat because that's what we do. Make sure you're hitting that like button so we can do our polls. Chris the Funny 2 asks, start T. Higgins. I do like T. Higgins today, Chris. Graham asks, CD Lamb or Jerick McKinnon at the flex. Graham, I would go with Jerick McKinnon. It would be Jerick McKinnon for me. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Nunez 1972 asks, Michael Pittman or Brandon Ayuk. Really don't feel good about either one of them. I think I would lean personally just slightly towards Pittman. I really don't like either one of them though. Zach Tramp 1, thank you so much for supporting us. Appreciate you joining us and being such a loyal follower. I know you like player prop bets. Make sure you check out our Instagram account at Fumble Sports and our Twitter account at Sports Fumble. We put out a lot of player prop bets over the last couple of hours, and we'll release them over the next few. I know you'll want to check those out, Zach. Dolphins fan 0110 asks, Christian Watson, Jeff Wilson Jr., or Gardner Minshew. I would go with Christian Watson, Dolphins fan. I would go with Christian Watson. B. James MC asks, Jerry Jeudy or Terry McLaurin. I'll lean just slightly towards Terry McLaurin. I don't feel great about either one. I could see them getting similar point values or fantasy points. That said, I'd lean just slightly towards McLaurin. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. C.W. Barrera asks, Pacheco or Moss. C.W. Barrera, I would go with Pacheco. That'd be Pacheco for me. Uncle A 415, appreciate you joining us, a loyal follower. Thank you so much. Trey Kidd asks, Tom Brady or Geno Smith. Trey Kidd, I would lean just slightly towards Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady for me, Trey Kidd. Jordan asks, is Pacheco a good start today, or should I start DPJ or Pickens in the flex? Jordan Hubler, I would definitely go with Pacheco. It's a no-brainer. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. XMikey99 asks, McKinnon or Pollard. Believe it, XMikey, I'm going to lean just slightly towards McKinnon. Both running backs split their touches. Pollard has the tougher matchup. I like McKinnon against those Seahawks defensive linemen. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. And of course, share the chat as well. Let others know, family, friends, coworkers who may need some help with their fantasy lineups. Make sure you're hitting that share button. Wade McDougal asks, Pacheco or DJ Moore. Wade, though I like DJ Moore today, I'm going to go with Pacheco. Pacheco is the better play, Wade. Rolf1233 asks, Joe Mixon or Kenneth Walker III. Rolf, I'm a little worried about Kenneth Walker III being able to play a full game, so I'll go with Joe Mixon. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Hal Best 7 asks, James Conner or Tony Pollard. Hal Best, I would go with Tony Pollard. It's Kyle, asks DeAndre Swift or Latavius Murray. Kyle, I would go with DeAndre Swift. If you have fantasy questions, gambling questions, here for all of it, make sure you throw them in the chat. We'll answer all of them. Fountain's Dispatch asks, Patriots defense or Chargers defense. Fountain's Dispatch, I would go with the Chargers defense. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Jacob Peralta 787 asks, Pittman, Mixon, or Dobbins, pick one. Jacob, I would go with J.K. Dobbins. FW Alex 13 asks, DeAndre Swift or Darius Slayton? Ooh, that's a tough one for me. I'll lean just slightly towards Swift. I know Slayton has a good matchup, but I just trust Swift a little bit more. Nick Priv asks, Cam Akers or Goodwin? Well, Goodwin has been limited in practice. If he starts, I really like him today. It's a really favorable matchup against the Chiefs. So for that reason, I'll lean Goodwin. Just make sure he's a go. And you'll be able to check as Goodwin plays before Akers. Appreciate all of you joining us on this early Saturday morning as we go through every game of NFL Week 16, answering all of your fantasy questions. But if you have gambling questions as well, game picks, total plays, player prop bets, we're here for all of it, here to answer all of your questions. Forget About It asks, Komet or Waller? I would go with Darren Waller. Forget About It. I would go with Darren Waller. Hoofhearted 22 asks, Derrick Henry, Sanders, Connor, Harris, Patterson are your running backs. Which three should you go with? Hoofhearted 22, I would definitely go with Henry. I would go with Najee Harris, and I'd lean just slightly towards Miles Sanders as well. Ryan Vieira 23 asks, Mostert or Ayuk? Ryan Vieira 23, I would go with Raheem Mostert. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and hit that like button. I like Hot Grannies asks, Tony Pollard or Zeke? Hot Grannies, I would go with Tony Pollard. Jenna Kent 1988 asks, Tennessee Titans or Cleveland defense? Believe it or not, Jenna, I would lean just slightly towards the Cleveland defense. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. We'll be streaming live for 3 hours on TikTok Live and on YouTube right up until kickoff this morning. Union asks, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, or Purdy? Union Sparky, I would go with Daniel Jones. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do a quick poll, so hit that like button. Wade McDougal asks, pick two, Kenneth Walker III, Higgins, Chris Moore, Pickens, or Lazard? If I'm picking two, Wade, I would go with T. Higgins, and I would go just slightly towards Pickens. I'd go Higgins and Pickens. My only thought is maybe Chris Moore. He's banged up. He's listed as questionable. If he's healthy, you might want to slot him in. Kellen Cosgrove asks, do I trust Kenneth Walker III today? I really don't. I expect the Seahawks passing game to be the superior part of their offense. Sharif 65 asks, Daniel Jones or Gardner Minshew? I would lean just slightly towards Daniel Jones, Sheriff. Robert Casio 227 asks, DeMarcus Robinson, Slayton, or George Pickens? Robert Casio 227, I lean slightly towards Darius Slayton. If you guys are worried that I'm not getting to your question, or you just want me to get to it faster, do what Jacob Wolf did. Give us a small gift. It shows up as an icon next to your name, makes it easy to find you in the chat. Jacob Wolf, thank you for the support. Jacob asks, Michael Pittman or Christian Watson? Jacob, that's an easy one for me. I would definitely go with Christian Watson. That's Christian Watson, Jacob. Christian Watson. Ben Mans 03 asks, Jawan Johnson or Darren Waller? I would go with Darren Waller. Bofi 99 asks, flex Higgins or Mike Evans if I have Chase already? I would lean just slightly towards Mike Evans. I actually think Higgins could have the better day than Chase. Given how the Patriots play, they like to take away the number one wide receiver. That number two can kind of slot in and get some yards. That said, I'd lean slightly towards Mike Evans. 90s Finest asks Pacheco or Stevenson. Stevenson is going to be playing today, but he's not a great start for me. 90s Finest, I would definitely go with Pacheco. Getting a question in from YouTube. Make sure you guys are subscribing and watching us on YouTube as we do our show today. We have some fantastic graphics. Daniel Jones or Brock Purdy? I would lean towards Daniel Jones as well. The question mentions that they like that matchup with the Vikings secondary. I do as well. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and subscribing on YouTube. Dippy12 asks, pick two, Mike Williams, Najee, or McKinnon. I would go with McKinnon and Mike Williams, Dippy 12. Dippy 12, that's McKinnon and Mike Williams. I am Mount Smart asks Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, or Amari Cooper. Smart, I would go with Deontay Johnson. It's Deontay Johnson for me. Jesse Hubbard 12 asks Taysom Hill or Freiermuth. I'm always worried about Taysom Hill. He's so versatile and they use him so many ways in that offense. But Jesse, I would go with Freiermuth. If you're worried I'm not getting to your chat and you want me to get to it right away, just give us a small gift. A little icon shows up next to your name, makes it easy to find it. Brad Ben 80 asks Kittle or Andrews. Brad, I'm going to lean slightly towards Mark Andrews. I know that he's burned me at times this year, but I think it's a slightly better matchup. So for that reason, I'll lean slightly towards Mark Andrews, Brad. Brad Ben 80, that would be Mark Andrews for me. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and at Sports Fumble on YouTube. Wow. At Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Done that twice. Okay, Antihero 811 asks Joe Mixon or Ramondre Stevenson. In that one, Antihero 811, I would go with Ramondre Stevenson. Jack asks Noah Fant or Everett. I love Noah Fant this week as long as he's healthy. Just make sure that he's a go. He starts before Everett's game, obviously, so you'll know if Noah Fant is a start, Noah Fant is a play for you in fantasy. Justin Adamson asks, or Justina Thompson, it could go either way. Justina Thompson, if I got it wrong. I hope I didn't get that wrong either way. T. Higgins or McKinnon. I would go with McKinnon. That's McKinnon for me. R. Gill 0, David Montgomery or McKinnon. You're going to hear me say this a lot. It's McKinnon today. I love Pacheco. I like McKinnon as well. Zach Tramp 1, who's a big player prop bet fan. If you want to get more of my player prop bets, check out our Instagram account at ButtFumbleSports or our TikTok or our Twitter account at SportsFumble. Zach Tramp 1 asks Justin Fields over 137 passing yards. It's a complete crapshoot when it comes to passing yards in some of the games today, given the wind, given the weather. So for me, I would avoid Justin Fields over passing yards. Where I do like him is on the ground. One player prop bet that I really like today is Justin Fields rushing yard total. I would take the over on that one. Surprise, surprise. I would take over 77.5 rushing yards for Justin Fields. I'm getting that at minus 110. As you saw last week, the Buffalo Bills at times struggle with stopping the run. Justin Fields so dynamic in that part of his game. I expect him to get 78 or more rushing yards. Appreciate all the support you guys show us. Make sure you're following us at Buttfumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Brad Ben 80 asks waiver wire pickup for Hurts if I have Purdy already. A couple guys off the waiver wire that you may want to consider at quarterback. Daniel Jones, owned in 60% of leagues on ESPN. He's worth checking out. Kenny Pickett might be someone you also want to check out. He's owned in less than 10% of leagues on ESPN. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Buttfumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at SportsFumble on Twitter. By the way, Brad Ben, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for those goggles. Brother Radical asks Rashad White, Pacheco, Algier, or Slayton in a PPR flex. Brother Radical, I would go with Pacheco. That's Pacheco for me. Steven 23 Vega, who supported us, appreciate that, Steven. They ask Waddle or Dobbins. That's a tough one for me. I really like both players. I'll lean just slightly towards Waddle. This may be because I got burned last week and I'm feeling a bit of the residual effects of that. But even though I think Dobbins has a good game, I'll lean just slightly towards Waddle. Appreciate all of you joining us, not just on TikTok Live, but on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube at Buttfumble Sports. A question we're getting from YouTube, Jamal Williams or Deontay Foreman. I would go with Jamal Williams. That's Jamal Williams for me. As for another question on YouTube, Browns defense or Eagles defense, I would definitely go with the Browns defense. That's the Browns defense for me over the Eagles defense. One more from YouTube. Zeke, Gallup, or Drake London at the flex. They don't know about Zeke going up against Philly. Well, I feel very confident about that. Zeke has been good for an anytime touchdown so consistently. I feel like he's a good play week in, week out. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. And as we always do on these pregame shows, when we hit another 5,000 like mark, we do a quick poll. It's usually related to a game pick or player prop bet that I like. So make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we get up to 5,000 likes, we'll do a quick poll. Athlete 55610, Waller or should? I don't know who the should be, but I like Waller today, so I think you're good either way. Athlete 556, I like Waller. The Pope 501 asks, Barkley, Swift, Chubb, or Moss? The Pope 501, I would go with Nick Chubb. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Chicken Flinger 123 asks, Kenneth Walker III or J.K. Dobbins? Chicken Flinger, I would definitely go with J.K. Dobbins. Zach Tramp 1 asks, David Montgomery or Pacheco? Zach Tramp 1, I would go with Pacheco. And between Juju Smith-Schuster and Godwin, Zach Tramp 1, I would go with Godwin. That's Pacheco and Godwin to answer your question. DJ Owen asks, Donovan Peoples-Jones or Hollywood Brown? Really don't like either one, DJ. One, you have bad weather, so passing game will be difficult. In the other one, you have a third-string quarterback throwing him the ball. Don't like either one, DJ Owen. I would look to maybe find someone else on the waiver wire. Between those two, I probably lean towards Hollywood Brown just slightly, but not crazy about it. Getting another question in from YouTube. Gerald Everett or Noah Fant? Got this one earlier. Interesting one. I like both players. That said, Noah Fant has the better matchup. Chiefs are bad against the tight end position. So if Noah Fant is healthy, I like Noah Fant this week. But that said, if he's not, you'll know ahead of time before Everett goes, obviously. So that said, if Fant can't go, you always have Everett on Monday Night Football. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do a quick poll. And if you're worried that I'm not getting to your question, I'm always going in here looking for people who support us. So just give us the small gift. A little icon shows up next to your name. It doesn't need to be a lot. That way I'll always answer your question. Yehio8 asks, Andrews or Okonkwo? I would go with Mark Andrews on that one. And between Juju Smith-Schuster and Waddle, I would go with Waddle. Appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you, Dylan Cope. I'll make sure I get to your questions when they show up in the chat. 25 Paul McCartney asks, Freiermuth, Knox, or Taysom Hill? 25 Paul McCarthy, I would go with Freiermuth. I turned that into McCartney. It was Paul McCarthy. Another question we're getting in from YouTube. Marquise Goodwin or Michael Pittman? On that one, I would go with Marquise Goodwin. Make sure you're following and subscribing at Fumble Sports. The Pope 501, yes, I would go with Chubb. Yes, the Pope 501, it's Nick Chubb for me. Sharif 65 asks, KJ Osborne or Brandon Ayuk? Sharif 65, I would go with Brandon Ayuk. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Dylan Cope, who just gave us that gift. Sorry, Noah, we're not taking up any comment chats. Most people on game days just want their questions answered, so not doing any of that. Dylan Cope asks, Bills or Chargers defense? I would go with the Chargers defense, Dylan. I think I'd go with the Chargers defense. And Deontay Johnson or Zach Moss? I'll lean just slightly towards Zach Moss, Dylan. So the two, to answer your question, are the Chargers defense and Zach Moss. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Another question, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, or McKinnon? I'll lean just slightly towards McKinnon, believe it or not. Brian Johnston, 484, asks, Kmet, Waller, or Fant for tight end, 1 point PPR? Brian Johnston, 484, I'll lean just slightly towards Waller. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we'll do a quick poll. Couple questions coming in from YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing to us on YouTube at Fumble Sports. Taysom Hill or Okonkwo? I would go with Taysom Hill. That's Taysom Hill over Okonkwo. And as for the quarterbacks, we're getting another question. Daniel Jones or Justin Fields? I'd go Daniel Jones. Again, once we get up to 5,000 likes, we'll do a quick poll. If you're worried I'm not getting to your question, just give us a small gift an icon shows up next to your name. I answer it every time. Doesn't need to be a lot. It's more to keep track of you in the chat. Corey Hart J16 asks, Broncos defense, Cowboys defense, Eagles defense. Corey Hart, I would go with the Broncos defense. That's the Broncos defense for me, Corey Hart. Brandon Kramer, 731. Mike Evans or Scary Terry? Brandon Kramer, I would go with Mike Evans. Daddy Moose 3, who shows up a lot, appreciate you supporting us, asks Miles Sanders, Zeke Elliott, or Fournette. PPR, I'm leaning towards Sanders. I lean slightly towards Sanders just because I think the Eagles are going to have to rely on him to make sure that they have a chance in that game. That said, I do like Zeke for an anytime touchdown. Josh Hare 1 asks, Cowboys defense or Browns defense? I would definitely go with the Browns defense. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at SportsFumble on Twitter. We just hit 5,000 likes. Every time we hit a 5,000 like benchmark, we'll do a quick poll. The quick poll we're about to do has to do with one of the star running backs today who has a favorable matchup. We'll see if you like this play. So this has to do with a player prop bet that I'm leaning towards. But we put this poll question out there to you. Every time we hit 5,000, another 5,000 like benchmark, we do this. Okay, so our first poll question of the day, this one because we hit 5,000 likes. Will Derrick Henry have over or under 128 and a half rushing plus receiving yards? Let me say that one more time for everyone. Will Derrick Henry have over or under 128 and a half rushing and receiving yards? If you like the over, hit the smiley face. If you like the under, hit the crying face. One more time. That's will Derrick Henry have over or under 128 and a half rushing plus receiving yards? Over, smiley face, under, crying face. Both are going off at 115. Now let's do our quick poll, and here we go. Our quick poll for this 5,000 like hit. Thank you so much for joining us and liking us. Will Derrick Henry have over or under 128 and a half rushing plus receiving yards? Over, smiley face, under, crying face. What do you guys think? Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports. Hit that share button, hit that like button. We're doing a quick poll because we just hit 5,000 likes. We'll get back to answering your questions in a second. But the quick poll question, smiley face over, crying face under. Will Derrick Henry have over or under 128 and a half rushing plus receiving yards today? Over, smiley face, under, crying face. What do you guys think? Curious to know what you guys think right now. Coming down to the final seconds of the poll, over, under, rushing plus receiving yards for Derrick Henry. 128 and a half is the line. The over has it by a decent margin. I agree with all of you. The ButtFumble Sports player prop bet on that one is definitely the over. He has consistently gone over 200 rushing yards against the Houston Texans. So 128 and a half rushing plus receiving yards feels like a very good play today. I know he's got a backup quarterback throwing to him, but I still feel like Derrick Henry is going to get a ton of yards. The Mike Vrabel fighting Tennessee Titans are going to rely on him today. Every time we hit 5,000 likes, we do another quick poll. So when we get to 10,000, we'll do that. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Ethan Wells, 77, asks Terry McLaurin, Devontae Smith, or Christian Watson. I'd go with Christian Watson. BBN is the best, asks Mike Evans or DeAndre Swift. BBN is the best. I would go with Mike Evans. Daniel asks, should I bench Mike Evans or Ayuk for Marquise Goodwin? I wouldn't. I would start Mike Evans. I would start Mike Evans, Daniel. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at SportsFumble on Twitter. Dom714 asks, Daniel Jones or Jared Goff? I would go with Daniel Jones. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're worried I'm not getting to your question, I answer the questions of people who give us a gift. Just because the icon shows up makes it easy for me to find them. Emanu2123 has supported us. He asks, pick 3, Chargers, Colts. Oh, pick 3 games for you. Okay, easy. Chargers, Colts, Lions, Carolina, and Vegas, Pittsburgh. Okay, Emanu2123, appreciate the support. I got some bets for you. Okay, so I like the Chargers on the money line, and I like the Chargers to cover. I would buy it down just to get some security, but I do like the Chargers covering that. I'm getting that at -1.5. So Chargers -1.5. With Detroit, Carolina, I'm on kind of both sides of this one. I'm a little bit worried about it being a trap game for the Lions. So I would take the Lions to cover and buy it down, get that -1.5, and then I would buy points on the Carolina side. So I like Detroit -1.5. I like Carolina +4.5. I think you can actually split the difference there. I think it's a field goal game. So even if Detroit loses, you get Carolina. But that said, you could actually cash both tickets. Vegas, Pittsburgh is kind of the same for me. I really liked Vegas, Pittsburgh as a betting game early in the week. I liked I liked Vegas to cover early in the week. But once Franco Harris died, I did become concerned about that only because the emotional component of a game, it's in Pittsburgh, they're retiring his number. I feel like there's some juice in the air. I feel like something's going to happen. So the Vegas-Pittsburgh game, I'm fading a little bit from a gambling standpoint. For me, I would probably do the same thing I just said about the Detroit-Carolina game. I would take Vegas to cover it. I'd buy the points up, but I might take Pittsburgh on the money line. There might be emotions in Heinz Field or whatever they're calling that stadium now, but I wouldn't be surprised if something crazy goes down and Pittsburgh somehow comes out on top. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Sammy Robb 19 asks, Broncos defense or Browns defense? I would definitely go with the Broncos defense, Sammy Robb. Broncos defense for me. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Jake W012 asks, Mostert or Cooper? I would go with Mostert, Jake. That's Mostert for me. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Blackind asks, should I start Waddle, Smith, or Amari Cooper at the flex position in a PPR? Blackind, I would go with Waddle. That's Waddle for me. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Hit that share button as well. Be a mensch, be a good friend. Give the gift of good fantasy football and gambling talk to others. So hit that share button and let others know that we're going to be in the chat for another 2.5 hours. It's only been 1/2 hour. We will be here right up until kickoff at 1 p.m. answering all of your fantasy questions. If you keep throwing them in the chat, don't worry, I will get to them. But if you want me to get to them right away, give us a small gift. A little icon shows up next to your name. I go right to it. I answer it right away. So if you're trying to get my attention in that way, that's the best way to do it. Uncle A 415, you just learned how to do it, so I'll answer your question right away now. Yeah, you can put all those shapes in there. That won't do it as well. So Uncle A 415, thank you so much for the support. You asked Dallas Goedert or Taysom Hill. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Taysom Hill, Uncle, and this is the reason, because I want to give you a reason why. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Taysom Hill because in that game with the weather, I think the Browns are going to rely on a diversified offense. They're going to have to do things on the ground, some quick screen plays. Taysom Hill will be involved in those. I think he has a chance to be used in the offense a couple times, might get you a touchdown. Goddard, even though I like him in some matchups, the problem is the Cowboys defense is decent enough against the tight end position, so I like Taysom Hill. It would be Taysom Hill for me, Uncle A 415. You ask another question. I wanna make sure I get the kicker question correct. Kicker. Okay, so between Jason Sanders and McLaughlin, Uncle A415, I would go with Sanders. So please and thank you. The two players I would go with for your question are Taysom Hill and Jason Sanders. Getting a question in from YouTube. The question has to do with A.J. Dillon or Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert just got activated again, but I'm a little hesitant about him. I know he could have a decent day on the ground, given the Bears are going to rely on that against the Bills' defense, but I'll lean more towards A.J. Dillon. So for those asking on YouTube, whether it's A.J. Dillon or Khalil Herbert, I would go with A.J. Dillon. Make sure you're subscribing to us on YouTube at Fumble Sports. DJ Owen asks, do I like Njoku today? I really don't. Tough weather. I like him over a few other matchups, so if some out there have Njoku or another tight end and they're wondering, I still may take Njoku sometimes, but I really don't like Njoku today, DJ. Just tough weather. Champ Chavez 3 asks, should I start the Titans tight end Okonkwo? I'm not crazy about him today. I think he will get a couple catches. I could see him getting 2-3 catches, but I don't think it's a great start. Uncle A415, thank you, sir. Happy holidays to you. So appreciate the support. Appreciate you sticking around and watching the show. Ryan Ray asks, Montgomery or Swift? Ryan Ray, I'll lean just slightly towards DeAndre Swift. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Ryan Hahn Wacker asks, Thielen or Slayton? That's an interesting one. We'll get to that question in a little bit in a poll question. I'm curious about that myself. I'll lean just slightly towards Darius Slayton. Michael V210 asks, A.J. Dillon, Kareem Hunt, Rashad White, J.K. Dobbins, Kenneth Walker III. Pick two, please. Michael, I would go with J.K. Dobbins and I would go with Rashad White. The only other player that's giving me a bit of hesitation is Kareem Hunt, because I think the Browns will have to rely on the running game. That said, it's Dobbins and White for me. Appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. And of course, share this stream with other people at Fumble Sports. We grow thanks to your support, so hit that share button. LGP Elite asks, need to Marquise Goodwin, Jerry Jeudy, Thielen, Dillon, or Noah Fant? I'll go with Marquise Goodwin and Adam Thielen on that one, LGP Elite. I'll go Goodwin and Thielen. Just make sure Goodwin is healthy. Champ Chavez 3, should I start the Pittsburgh tight end? If that's Freiermuth, absolutely. I like Freiermuth this week. Joe Sella 365 asks, Chris Moore or Palmer? Joe Sella, I like Chris Moore. My only concern, he's been on the injury report this week. Just make sure he's a start. Go, check Adam Schefter. Go check what the latest is leading up to game time. But Joe, if Chris Moore is a go, I would start Chris Moore. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Nino Knight asks, A.J. Dillon, Singletary, or Zeke? Start two. Nino Knight, I would go with Zeke, and I would go with Singletary. Nino Knight, that's Zeke and Singletary. Answering all of your fantasy questions. If you're worried I'm not getting to your question, just give us a small gift. A little icon shows up next to your name. As others can attest, I answer it every single time. I get right to it. So make sure you do that, and that way you're not asking 50 times. That won't make me answer any faster. I'm trying to find those who show us the support. Just like a Manu2123, appreciate you supporting us. Would you go under or over Colts Chargers? It's at 45.5. There's a part of me, a Manu, that wants to take the over, simply because I think Nick Foles could actually have a more decent game than people expect. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a bounce-back week. He underperformed last week. So part of me wants to take the over on that one. Earlier in the week, I bet the under, so now that I say that. The under is 4-1-1 in the last 6 meetings between the two teams. That said, the over is 5-1 in the Colts' last 6 Monday night games. So I actually did take the under according to my notes earlier in the week. Maybe there's a bit of change of heart that I'm having now. SD Hip Hop asks Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Dak Prescott. No, I take it back. SD Hip Hop, forgive me. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. SD Hip Hop, I'm going Joe Burrow. Oh, I just made a mistake. I hate this thing. Oh, I gotta jump out and jump back in. I just screwed up. Darn it. All right, I'll be right back, guys. And we are back. So sorry about that interruption. Sometimes TikTok Live is an absolute pain in the butt fumble sports. Sometimes I hit the wrong button, and sometimes this thing comes up and like freezes my screen. So apologize about that. We will get back. Yeah, Uncle A415, we are back. Appreciate all of those who are sticking through our tech difficulties. Sometimes TikTok Live is just a pain in the butt fumble sports, but appreciate all of you guys joining us. We were close to 10,000 likes, so I won't forget that. In fact, let's start, once we get everyone back in the chat, let's do a quick poll. Since we were almost to 10,000 likes, we were at 8 and change. We'll just start it over. We'll do a quick poll now. Once we do this quick poll, I'll get right back to answering your questions. I will actually answer a question because someone who gave us a gift just asked. I always answer those who support us. I answer those right away. So Outlaw Wood 2, what's up, man? Appreciate your support. Merry early Christmas to you. Hope you and your family are doing well. Should I drop James Cook and add Deontay Foreman? It's interesting because I like James Cook today, Outlaw Wood 2, but that said, I do think he just has less opportunities than Deontay Foreman. The Panthers are going to feed Foreman more frequently than the Bills will feed James Cook. So for that reason only, I lean slightly towards Foreman. So I agree with you. I would lean slightly towards Deontay Foreman, Outlaw Wood, but only for that reason. Appreciate all of you joining us. We always answer those who support us. So Drums and Keys, thank you so much for the support. We'll answer your question right away. Drums and Keys as Zach Moss or Brandon Cooks for the flex. Okay, Drums and Keys. Here's what I'd say. I really like Brandon Cooks today. My only concern, is he going to be healthy enough to go? I think he will be. I'll actually lean towards Brandon Cooks, Drums and Keys. Brandon Cooks, no Nico Collins. He's out. Playing a terrible Titans secondary, gives up a ton of passing yards. You got to feel like Brandon Cooks is going to get a deep pass, maybe a touchdown on something deep. So even though he's been a bust for almost the entire year, Drums and Keys, I do like Brandon Cooks today. By the way, thank you so much for the support and the gifts. Means a lot as we build this sports network. Another supporter of ours who shows up, I see it right away. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Chess Ninja asks a kicker question. Chase McLaughlin, Dicker the kicker, or Myers? Thank you so much, Chico. Chess Ninja, I would go with Dicker the kicker. Chess Ninja, that's Dicker the kicker. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us. And if you're worried I'm not getting to your question, just do what Chico1626 did. That icon shows up next to your name when you just give us a little gift. Thank you so much, Chico. Pick one. Shaheed, Hollywood Brown, Pickens, or Boyd. Chico1626, I would go with George Pickens. I'd go with George Pickens. Shaheed has bad weather. Hollywood Brown has a backup quarterback throwing to him. I think Tyler Moore of Boyd could be a surprise good play, but Pickens is a more reliable play. So Chico, I would go with George Pickens. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Appreciate it. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. Ryan Hahn Wacker, thank you for the gift. Answering your question, Adam Thielen or Darius Slayton? That's an interesting one. I lean just slightly towards Slayton. That said, I'm going to put that out there. I promised we would do a quick poll because we screwed up our feed. We'll do a quick poll around just that question. We'll do it really fast, then I'll get back to answering your questions. Quick poll. Who do you guys prefer today? Smiley face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. Which wide receiver will get more fantasy points today? What do you guys think? Smiling face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. What do you guys think? Which wide receiver will get more fantasy points today? Smiling face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. Here we go, quick poll. We will get back to answering your fantasy questions in just 1 second. Doing a quick poll, what do you guys think? Which wide receiver will have more fantasy points today? Smiling face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. What do you guys think? Put together this poll last night. I thought this was going to be a good one. Ryan, you asked a good question. You can get some answers from the audience here, millionaire style. Quick poll. Who will have more fantasy points today? Smiling face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. What do you guys think? Doing a quick poll, then going back to answering your fantasy questions. Smiling face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. We are dead tied right now. Which wide receiver will have more fantasy points? This is a close poll. Getting a lot of votes on this one. Very close poll. What do you guys, only 10 seconds left. Smiling face Darius Slayton, crying face Adam Thielen. Who will get more fantasy points? Down to the wire. And it's Darius Slayton by a nose. Wow, by 1 vote. That was fun. We'll continue to do those polls every time we hit 5,000 likes. Paying that one off because we screwed up last time. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Every time we hit 5,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. Kyle Cass, appreciate you guys wanting to come up and join the conversation. We'll do that once fantasy season's over, but for now, people just want to get fantasy football questions answered, so that's all we're going to do today. Kyle Cass asks, Tony Pollard or Kenneth Walker III? First, Kyle, thank you for the support. I would go with Tony Pollard. Kyle Cass, I'd go with Tony Pollard. Getting a few questions in from YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. The question, Alvin Kamara or DeAndre Hopkins? I would go with Alvin Kamara. That's Alvin Kamara over DeAndre Hopkins. Another question from YouTube, Deion Jackson, Cordell Patterson, Cam Akers, or Jerick McKinnon? I would go with, to answer the question from YouTube, I'd go Jerick McKinnon and I'd go Cam Akers. That's Jerick McKinnon and Cam Akers would be the 2 I'd pick. One last one from YouTube before we get back to answering those on TikTok Live in the comments section. Need 1 running back, two wide receivers, and a flex and a PPR. All right, we're going to do a lot of work for you here. I'll go, so you're asking Rachaad White, Foreman, Algier. We're not joining. No one joining the conversation today. We'll do that next week once fantasy season ends. Today we're only answering fantasy questions. So the question from YouTube: Rachaad White, Foreman, Algier, Ayuk, Lazard, Chark, Osborne, or Gage? Man, asking a lot of questions here. Jesus. Okay, I'd go Rachaad White, I'd go Foreman, and I'd go DJ Chark. And if you missed that, well, you asked too long a question. Todd Hall 1212 asks, Njoku or Schultz? I definitely go with Schultz. Appreciate you guys wanting to join the conversation, but we're not going to do that today. We'll do that in the future. Not today, though. Just answering your fantasy questions today. Music Mandarin asks, Thielen or Amari Cooper? Music Mandarin, I would go with Thielen. That's Thielen for me, Music Mandarin. Okay, W. Schofield 05 asks Pacheco or Walker. I would go with Pacheco, Schofield 05. That's Pacheco. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Kyle Cass, thank you for the support. Kyle Cass asks Taysom Hill or Bellinger. Oh, thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you so much. Very cool. Kyle Cass asks Taysom Hill or Bellinger. I do like both of these tight ends today. I'm going to lean slightly towards Hill. Just more opportunities to get you points with how he's used in that Saints offense. Hopefully he'll get used on the ground a number of times with the weather. I think Bellinger could have a good game. I think Taysom Hill could get you a touchdown. So that's the reason, Kyle Cass, I'm going in that direction. Jordan Johnson 304, thank you so much for the support, Jordan. Answering your question, DeAndre Swift, Zeke Elliott, or Miles Sanders. Can only have one in there. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Miles Sanders, just slightly over Zeke Elliott. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us, following us, and of course, donating to us, giving these gifts. Every time you give a gift, an angel gets its wings. I should say Butt Fumble Sports is able to create more content. Chase Ninja, thank you for your support. Chase Ninja asks, Bellinger or Cade Otton? Cade Otton has a wonderful matchup today against the Arizona Cardinals defense. They're terrible against tight ends, so I'd go with Otton. Appreciate you guys wanting to join the conversation. We won't do that today. That'll be a future day. I love to have conversations with you guys, but today, only answering fantasy questions. That's all we're doing. Thank you so much, Jordan. Luke Garcia, 1221, asks, Cowboys defense or Eagles defense? Really don't like either one, Luke. I would try to find someone else on the waiver wire. That said, if I had to go in one direction, I would slightly lean towards the Cowboys. Thank you so much, Jordan. Incredible support you're showing us. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Nate asks, Tua, Fields, or Geno? Nate Elwell, I would go with Tua just slightly. Ooh, it just got cold in here. Maybe it's because Damian Skyberg just showed up. Thank you so much, Damian. Uncle A415 asks, both are half PPR questions. Okay, Uncle, I'll answer it for you. Mixon or Zeke? On that one, I would go Zeke, Uncle. I would go Zeke. And pick two, Barkley, Kamara, or Pollard? Thank you, Damian Sky. I appreciate you, Damian Skyberg. Okay, Uncle, for the pick two question, I would go Pollard and I'd go Barkley. So your first question is Zeke is the answer, and the other one is Barkley and Pollard, just slightly Barkley over Kamara. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. I'll probably extend it to 6,000 likes because we did a poll at 2,000. Champ Chavez, should I start the tight end should I start Freiermuth or should I start Okonkwo? I would start Freiermuth, Champ. I'd go Freiermuth. Paul asks, CeeDee Lamb or Keenan Allen? Paul, I lean slightly towards Keenan Allen. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. Hayden asks, Fournette or Gabe Davis? Hayden, just because of the weather, I'm going to lean towards Fournette. I'm a little concerned that Gabe Davis could have a big touchdown catch, but I have to be concerned about the wind and the weather, so I think Fournette is a slightly better play just based off of the conditions. Oh, it's Dylan asks, Justin Fields or Joe Burrow in a PPR? Oh, it's Dylan. I would go with Joe Burrow. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. AA816, appreciate the fact you want to join the conversation, but we're not going to be doing that today. Only answering fantasy questions. We're doing that for another hour and 15 minutes, taking you right up until kickoff. We're only answering fantasy questions today. We're not going to make it a group conversation. User 2514 asks, Dalton Schultz or Taysom Hill? User 25, I lean just slightly towards Dalton Schultz. User P6, same thing goes for you. Appreciate the fact you want to join the conversation, but we won't be doing that today, only answering fantasy questions. Joe asks, Mike Evans or Mike Williams? Joe, I'd lean slightly towards Mike Evans. Diego asks, Ramondre Stevenson, Pollard, or McKinnon? Pick two. Diego, I would go with Pollard, and I'd go with McKinnon. Johnny Appleseed 46 asks, Dotson or Goodwin? Johnny Appleseed 46, I'd go with Goodwin. Just make sure that he's a healthy go. Greedy One asks, thoughts on Geno Smith today? I do like him. He's got some banged up receivers. No Tyler Lockett today, which is slightly concerning. But that said, I do like Geno Smith today to get some yards and touchdowns against that Chiefs secondary. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. The Great One asks, Waller or Schultz? The Great One, I would go with Darren Waller. The young beanbag asked Jerry, Judy, or Pacheco. I would go with Pacheco. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Want to give a big shout out to Damian Skyberg. Damian Skyberg, big supporter of ours. Thank you so much. Damian Skyberg asked Ramondre Stevenson or Deontay Johnson. I would go with Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Skyberg. That's Ramondre Stevenson. R. Rocha 1997 asks Dobbins or Deontay Johnson. I'd go J.K. Dobbins. Raul Reyna asks Njoku on ugly weather or Bellinger. Raul, I would go with Bellinger. Nick Martinez 06 asks Montgomery or Fournette. Nick Martinez, I would go with Montgomery. Father Time, who's apparently undefeated, Father Time asks, how about Kirk Cousins? Love Kirk Cousins today, 1 p.m. game at home. And forgive the dad jokes. Running the Pass, thank you for the support you give us. Running the Pass asks Deshaun Watson or Derek Carr. Because of the weather in Cleveland, I'm avoiding Deshaun Watson. So Running the Pass, I would go with Derek Carr. That's Derek Carr for me. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. T. Chachki, I'm probably getting that name wrong, but thank you for the gift. Thank you for the support. Answering your question, Freiermuth or Waller? I'll lean just slightly towards Waller in that one. Appreciate all of you joining us. Appreciate that there are some who want to come up and join the conversation. We won't be doing that today. Definitely save that for another time. Love doing that with you guys, but today we're only answering fantasy questions. Another one from Damian Skyberg. Goddard or Schultz? I'll lean just slightly towards Goddard in that one. Just slightly towards Goddard. You have Lamb as a wide receiver 1. Yeah, I like that play today. Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders. Minshew, Pickett, or Goff? I'd lean slightly towards Pickett. Brent Ortigo asks PPR, Thielen, Judy, or Deontay Johnson. And that one I would go Adam Thielen. Big Smoke 210. Appreciate the support, Big Smoke. His question is Amari Cooper or Marquise or Hollywood Brown. Really don't like either one of them. Amari Cooper has bad weather. Hollywood Brown has a backup throwing to him. I mean, I kind of want to lean towards Amari Cooper, but the weather is so bad. So Big Smoke, I would hope you could almost find someone off the waiver wire. I might lean towards Amari Cooper, but I don't feel very good about it. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us. Joe Bustamanti 74 asks Pacheco, Dobbins, or Murray. Joe, I would go with Pacheco. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. We will be live for another 2 hours and 10 minutes, taking you all the way up until game time. So if you've got questions, we've got answers. Uncle A415, appreciate your support this morning. You ask in a half PPR, would you start Godwin or Higgins over Zeke? First of all, I like Zeke, so I wouldn't necessarily sit him, but if I did go with one of those wide receivers, I think I'd lean just slightly towards Godwin. Okay, who will the weather affect most today? Asked Jim Shoe Sharon. So Jim Shoe Sharon, this isn't a plug. This is me trying to give you a great place to go to get a weather report. Check out NFLweather.com. For all of you who are playing in fantasy or gambling today who want to know the weather, not just at kickoff, but for every quarter of a game, go to NFLweather.com. You can check out what the weather is for every game and what the quarter is, what the weather is going to be. So, like, I know for that Bears-Bills game that it's going to have 22 mile per hour winds. It's going to be a really chaotic game when it comes to the wind. That said, that wind's going to get worse over the course of the game. And right now, it's actually going to get slightly warmer, but it's going to feel like -8 degrees in that Bills-Bears game. So that's an example of bad weather, how that's going to impact things. Another game that's going to have really bad weather today that I think is going to impact things is that Browns game with the Saints. That game is expected to have terrible weather as well. Overcast conditions. It is slightly less. It's going to have nearly 30 mile per hour winds. Nearly 30 mile per hour winds in that game. So another reason to be concerned about that one. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. I know I just gave a long weather report, so thank you for bearing with me. But definitely check out NFLweather.com. Big Gurns asks, first of all, Big Gurns, thank you for the support. Big Gurns asks, Kamara, Chubb, or White, need two. I would go with Chubb, and I would go with Kamara, Big Gurns. That's Nick Chubb and Kamara. The weather might be good for the running backs in that game. They'll be pounding the ball for a majority of that one. Appreciate whoever just shared the channel as well. We grow off the support of you guys, so thank you for sharing us. Chess Ninja, I like the Denver defense this week. Chess Ninja, I do as well. I like that defense. 3 Luke Smith, 3, asks, pick 2 McKinnon, Kenneth Walker III, or Juju Smith-Schuster. 3 Smith, 3, I would go with McKinnon, and I'd go with Juju Smith-Schuster. Again, thank you for whoever just shared our channel. We appreciate the support. Sammy 505 asks, Nick Chubb, Isaiah McKenzie, or Walker. Sammy 505, easy one for me. It's Nick Chubb. Tampa Franchise asks, Osborne or Goodwin in your championship semifinal. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone joining us. Happy holidays and all that good stuff. Tampa Franchise, I would go with Marquise Goodwin. I'd go with Marquise Goodwin. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Connor Zimmy 1 asks, pick 2, Thielen, Waddle, or Kamara. In the pick 2, I would go with Waddle, and I'd lean just slightly towards Kamara. Connor, I lean towards Waddle and Kamara. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you're following at Fumble Sports. Austin Knight asks, Jamal Williams, Latavius Murray, or Thielen. On that one, Austin, I lean slightly towards Jamal Williams, hoping he gets you an anytime touchdown. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports as we stream live right up until kickoff on YouTube and on TikTok. Appreciate those who want to join the conversation. We won't be doing that today, only answering your fantasy questions, so you just throw those questions in the chat. JClone5 asks, Deion Jackson or Zach Moss? I would go with Zach Moss, JClone. Random35 asks, Gabe Davis or Amari Cooper? Man, that's a really tough one, Random. I'm going to lean towards Gabe Davis just slightly. Lesser wind. D. Alt asks, A.J. Dillon or Zach Moss? D. Alt, I'd go Zach Moss. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and hit that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. I blew past the 5,000 because we got it so fast. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do a quick poll. Tommy asks, pick 1, Mike Evans, Zach Moss, or J.K. Dobbins in a full PPR. I'll lean just slightly towards Evans. I like J.K. Dobbins today, but I'll lean slightly towards Evans. Scary Terry 201 asks, Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara? Scary Terry, that's an easy one for me. I'd go Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook could have a really big day. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Dylan Smith asks, Gabe Davis or Drake London? Dylan Smith, thank you for the support. And of course, if you are worried about me not answering your question, give a gift just like Dylan did. I'll answer it right away. Dylan, I would go with Gabe Davis. Dylan Smith, I'd go Gabe Davis. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Walker01 asks, Njoku or Goddard? I would go with Goddard, Walker01. I'd go Goddard. Scotty Dog Bama asks, Minshew or Watson? Scotty Dog Bama, I would go with Minshew. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. For those who want to join the conversation, we'll do that another time. Today, we're only answering fantasy questions. Yafal X Queen asks, Everett or Njoku? I would go with Everett. Sloth Boy asks, Hollywood Brown or Osborne? That's a tough one for me. I might actually lean towards Osborne. Austin asks, Geno or Purdy? Austin, I would go with Geno. closing in on 10,000 likes. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. So make sure you're hitting that like button. Get us up to 10,000 likes. We'll do a quick poll, and then we'll get right back to answering your fantasy questions. Ostra H asks, Stevenson or Chubb? I would go with Nick Chubb. We just crossed 10,000 likes, so we will do another quick poll. We will get back to answering your questions in just 1 minute, but let's do another quick poll. This quick poll has to do with a star tight end and a player prop bet around him. So here's the quick poll because we hit 10,000 likes. Does Travis Kelce have over or under 75.5 receiving yards today? Will Travis Kelce have over or under 77.5 receiving yards today? I'll say it one more time. Will Travis Kelce have over or under 77.5 receiving yards today? Smiley face over, crying face under. Let us know what you think. Smiling face over, crying face under. Travis Kelce will have over or under 77.5 receiving yards today. Doing a quick poll because we hit 10,000 likes. Here we go. Will Travis Kelce have over or under 77.5 receiving yards today? Smiling face over, crying face under. Let us know what you guys think. Doing a quick poll because we hit 10,000 likes. Travis Kelce over under. Will Travis Kelce have over under 77.5 receiving yards today? Over smiling face, under crying face. What do you guys think out there? We'll get back to answering your fantasy questions in just 1 minute. Just doing a quick poll around a player prop bet for today. Travis Kelce over under 77.5 receiving yards today. Over smiley face, under crying face. This one seems to be a big blowout, so we won't stay on it too long. Travis Kelce over seems to be the popular play. Smiley face over, crying face under. The over seems to have it. So much like you guys, I like the over today. I like Travis Kelce getting at least 78 receiving yards. So that's a player prop bet I like today. If you want to get more of my player prop bets, go check out our Instagram account at @ButtFumbleSports or on TikTok at SportsFumble. You'll be able to see all of the player prop bets that I like for today's games. Going back to answering your fantasy questions, if you're worried I'm not getting to your question, just give a little gift. It shows up as an icon. I answer it right away, just like I will for I Paint For You 23. Appreciate the support, I Paint For You 23. They're asking a flex option PPR, Mostert, Rashad White, or Ayuk. I Paint For You 23. I would go with Mostert. That's Mostert is the player I'd go with. Uncle A 415. I'll never bet an under on Kelce yards. I totally agree with you, Uncle A 415. I think that's a good play today, especially given how the Seahawks are so bad against the tight end position. User 2514 asks, Dalton Schultz or Taysom Hill? User 25, I lean slightly towards Dalton Schultz. Appreciate all of you guys joining us, supporting us, and following us. Make sure you hit that like button. Once we hit 15,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. And of course, answering all of your questions right up until kickoff. So we have 2 hours left to go. Plenty of time to answer all of your fantasy questions. Just make sure you're following us on TikTok and on YouTube at @ButtFumbleSports. Okay, Dyak Hoff 95. I would go with DJ Chark over Osborne. Dyak Hoff 95, I'd go DJ Chark. DRXP asks, or I should say Sloth Boy asks, Swift or Moss? I'd go with Swift. Dabrash, I always don't know how to pronounce that name, but I appreciate the support you show us every time, Dabrash. Is Gabe Davis or McKinnon good starts? McKinnon is a really good start today. I really like McKinnon today. McKinnon is definitely a start for me. HVAC Man Brooks asks McKinnon or Pacheco. I'll lean just slightly towards McKinnon, only because I saw Pacheco getting that Andy Reid doghouse last week. I think McKinnon, whether it's the run game or the pass game, is a good play. Thank you, Nico. Thank you so much for the support. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Nico. Make sure you're following us at @ButtFumbleSports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at SportsFumble on Twitter. CJ Niner asks, Njoku or Knox? CJ Niner, I lean just slightly towards Knox. Not crazy about either one, though. They both have tough weather. Hudson asks, Swift or Chubb? I would go with Chubb on that one, Hudson. I go Chubb. Whoever just shared the channel, appreciate that so much. We appreciate all the support we get. Appreciate you sharing us. Above the Rest, 714 asks, Dallas defense or Chargers defense? Above the Rest, I would definitely go with the Chargers defense. Whoever just shared us again, thank you so much for the share. Thank you so much for sharing our channel. ZCA asks, Taysom Hill or Darius Slayton at the flex? I would go with Darius Slayton. That's Darius Slayton. Oh, thank you for the cowboy. That's pretty cool, Nico. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to whoever shared the channel. Appreciate the support you guys are showing us this morning. Ryan Finkel 10 asks, Moss or D-Rob? I'm going to lean towards Moss, Ryan. I lean towards Moss. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Cameron Nylander asks, Ayuk or Christian Watson? Cameron, I would go with Christian Watson. I'd go with Christian Watson. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Jong Alina S8. Jong Alina S8. First of all, thank you for the support. Second of all, to answer your question, sit one, Mixon, Miles Sanders, McKinnon, or Mike Williams. The one I would sit is Joe Mixon. The one I would sit is Joe Mixon. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Justimus Prime 1, thank you for your support. Justimus Prime 1 asks, Sanders, Montgomery, or Mike Evans? I'll lean just slightly towards Mike Evans on that one, Justimus Prime. Appreciate all the support you guys are showing us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. DeBratch asks, do you like Keenan Allen or Pollard this weekend? I like both of them. Keenan Allen and Pollard, I like both of them. To whoever just shared the channel, thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Thank you for sharing Fumble Sports. Nico, you've been an incredible supporter this morning. Nico Stroh 27. They asked, sit one, James Conner, Mike Williams, or CeeDee Lamb. Nico, the one I would sit is James Conner. I would sit James Conner. Thank you so much for supporting us this morning, guys. You're an unbelievable following. Chess Ninja, best injury source on NFL injuries. Well, the best source for that actually is NFL.com. If you go to NFL.com/injuries, it shows up for NFL Week 16. The NFL has kind of a rule that you have to disclose injuries. I would go there to know who's been on the injury report throughout the week. And then obviously Adam Schefter. There's no one better than Adam Schefter getting out injury reports before game time. I just saw one question. I don't know who the name was, but the question was Alvin Kamara or Derrick Henry. That is a no-brainer for me today. It's Derrick Henry. Thank you so much to whoever just shared the channel. Appreciate that. It's Kinzo. It's Kinzo asks, Mostert or Sanders? It's Kinzo. I would go with Mostert. Appreciate all of you guys joining us, supporting us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. WM Mary, you have supported us. I so appreciate it. You're a wonderful supporter. We're so grateful for you guys not just joining us, but supporting us. We just hit 15,000 likes, so we will get back to your fantasy questions in just 1 second, 1 minute, but we will ask another poll question. Every time we hit another 5,000 like benchmark, we do another quick poll. So let's do another quick poll now. The quick poll we're about to do has to do with two quarterbacks that are facing off today, Jared Goff and Sam Darnold. Okay, here's the quick poll question. Which quarterback will have more passing yards today? Smiley face Jared Goff, crying face Sam Darnold. Which quarterback will have more passing yards today? Smiling face Jared Goff, crying face Sam Darnold. What do you guys think? We're doing a quick poll. Which quarterback will have more passing yards today? Smiling face Jared Goff, crying face Sam Darnold. What do you guys think? Here's your quick poll. Smiling face Jared Goff, crying face Sam Darnold. Which quarterback will have more passing yards today? Jared Goff off to a massive start. Wow. You guys are all on Jared Goff. No love for Sam Darnold, even though he's facing the worst defense today. This will be a quick poll, and when I say quick, we won't stay on this one long. You guys have Jared Goff getting more passing yards than Sam Darnold today, so we'll just move on from it pretty fast. Wow, a dominant performance in the chat. Quick poll answer. You guys have Jared Goff having more passing yards than Sam Darnold today, and it's not close. So with that said, we won't waste our time on that quick poll anymore since it's 41-3. So that said, we'll move right on and we'll continue to answer your fantasy questions. So we have better poll questions in the works, don't worry. Your fave asks, Michael Pittman or Amari Cooper? Your fave, I'd go with Michael Pittman, and of course, happy holidays to you. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Oh, I just screwed up again. We'll be right back. I just screwed up again. Sorry so much. I don't know how to undo it. I would undo it. But we will be right back. We'll take a 1 second. Almost like a quick commercial break. We are back. Appreciate all of those who join us. I know we've had some technical difficulties. Every once in a while, I have a fat finger where I press the bottom as I answer questions and scroll through. And for some reason, things go kind of crazy and we get that screen freeze on me. So appreciate all of those who come back on and join us. Thank you so much for the support. Sorry for our technical difficulties. We'll get right back to answering all of your questions, including one from WM Mary. WM Mary, thank you so much for the support you've shown us. Want to answer your question. WM Mary's question, pick 2, Chase, Brown, Watson, and Metcalf. WM Mary, I'm going to go with Christian Watson and Metcalf. It's tough because I want to say Jamar Chase, but Belichick going up against a star wide receiver. That star wide receiver has been limited the last 2 weeks in Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins. So I'll lean just slightly towards Watson and DK Metcalf. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us on on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Fumble Sports. Thank you so much, Jake. Appreciate it. Jake Stakes. Thank you for giving a gift. Jake Stakes asks, Jamal Williams or Miles Sanders? Jake, I would go with Miles Sanders. I'd go Miles Sanders. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Sean Harden asks, KJ Osborne or Richie James? I lean slightly towards Richie James, Sean. Katie 1031 asks, Taysom Hill or Waller? Katie 1031, I would go with Waller. Caden Zion asks, Swift or Montgomery? I lean just slightly towards Swift. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Lev Brown 1010, thank you so much for the support, Lev Brown. Lev Brown 1010 asks, Zach Moss, Drake London, Marquise Goodwin, full PPR. I'm going to lean slightly towards Marquise Goodwin. Just make sure he's a full go. If not, it'd be Zach Moss for me. And whoever just shared the chat, thank you so much, or shared the channel. Appreciate you guys sharing us with others. Goddard or Schultz asks Travis Matthew. I lean just slightly towards Goddard. Just slightly towards Goddard. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing the channel. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Team Z Wellness asks Broncos defense or Cleveland defense. I would lean just slightly towards the Broncos defense, Team Z Wellness. I lean slightly towards the Broncos defense. Guys, thank you so much for sharing the channel. And again, thank you so much for all your support. You guys are just an incredible following. Tim Spark Sparkman, Tim Sparkman 6 asks Purdy or Tom Brady. I would go with Tom Brady. Appreciate all of you joining us and, of course, sharing the channel. Dennis Luera 1 asks Tua or Fields. Dennis, I would go with Tua. Dennis, I'd go with Tua. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. Esther Camp asks Devontae Smith or Mostert. Esther, I would go with Mostert. Okie Dad 1990 asks Bills defense or Browns defense. Okie, I lean just slightly towards the Browns defense given the weather. Lev Brown 1010, does weather influence Drake London? Yep, that's one of the reasons I'm slightly avoiding that game from a passing standpoint. Plus, a rookie quarterback, I just think the tough conditions on the road. Appreciate all of you joining us. Brennan asks Knox or Waller. Brennan, I would go with Waller. Caden Richard 7 asks Kenneth Walker III or Montgomery. I'd go Montgomery. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We still have an hour and 45 minutes left of show. We've gone an hour and 15 minutes. Oof, I am losing my voice, but I am here for you, making sure you guys get all the fantasy answers you need. Sam Chaser asks, stuck between Brandon Cooks and Drake London. I'd actually go with Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, Sam. Saga Sting or something like that. Fields or Goff, I lean slightly towards Goff. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Shavamp99, who's been a supporter. Shavamp99, thank you so much for your support. Pick 4, London, Lazard, Palmer, Richie James, Chark, Waller, Jackson, Foreman, Hill. Okay, let's break this one down. Shavamp99, I'd go with Waller. I'd go with Chark. I'd go with Lazard. And I'd go Hill. Those would be my 4. Don's 0 asks Goff or Daniel Jones. I'd go Jones. Taylor full 11, Diggs or DK. I lean slightly towards DK. Better matchup and the better weather. Saints production asks Goff or Brady. I'd go with Tom Brady. By the way, thank you so much, guys, for those who are sharing the chat. Appreciate all of you guys sharing it. I'm Panthers because of weather. Thoughts? Yeah, I would drop Bass today. Kev Cass 69 asks Geno Smith or Kirk Cousins. I would go with Kirk Cousins. Medic Monkey 6 asks Gabe Davis, DJ Chark, Sutton, Chris Moore, pick one. I'll lean slightly towards Chark. Part of me wants to go with Sutton, but I'm not quite there. Micah Martinez asks Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, or Mostert. Micah Martinez, I would go with Mostert. Stitch Wounds asks Tua or Kirk. Stitch Wounds, I would go with Kirk Cousins. Champ Chavez 3 asks DJ Chark or Slayton. I would go Slayton. Appreciate all the support you guys are showing us. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Appreciate all of you guys joining us on TikTok Live and on YouTube. We still have a long way to go. Yeah, Uncle A14 had to fuel up. I'm feeling a little thirsty. You guys are keeping me going non-stop. We've been going now for an hour and 20 minutes. We'll be doing it for another hour and 40 minutes. So if you like what you're watching, share the chat, hit the like button, and of course, follow us at Fumble Sports. Ev27 asks Fields or Dak. I would definitely go with Dak. By the way, make sure if you've got questions out there while you're watching on YouTube, you can share those questions. I get them in as we have our production team working on that. So make sure you share your questions from YouTube. Happy to answer those as well at Fumble Sports on YouTube. Duncan Beefy asks Rachaad White or Kenneth Walker III in a PPR league. Duncan, I would go with Rachaad White. That's Rachaad White for me, Duncan Beefy. Flacco asks McKinnon or Lamb. Flacco, I lean slightly towards McKinnon. Army of 122. Josh Allen or Geno Smith. Because of the weather, I lean just slightly towards Geno Smith, Army of 1. I lean slightly towards Geno Smith. Straight Blazed asks Scott Fournette and Peoples-Jones both in the flex. I have Singletary and James Cook on the bench. I would go with Singletary and I'd go with James Cook. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. Appreciate whoever just shared the channel. Just checking out, answered a lot of these questions already. So like Taylor full 11, I answered that already. I already answered that. That's DK Metcalf, Taylor. Logan, I already answered that one. I said McKinnon, Logan. I said McKinnon. Brandon Kramer asks Gardner Minshew or Jared Goff. I'd go Gardner Minshew. Debo's Revenge asks, start one, Zach Moss, Hodgins, Slayton, Rashid Shaheed, Goodwin, or Slayton. I'd go with Slayton. Appreciate all of you guys joining us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you're following us. Hit that follow button. Athlete 55610 asks Waller, Schultz, Freiermuth, Taysom Hill. Start two. I would start Waller and I would start Freiermuth. Shane's Chow asks Goodwin or Murray. I would go with Goodwin. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. CMO2 asks Amari Cooper or Jamal Williams. I'd go Jamal Williams. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and hit that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. I know we had our audience drop off a bit because of some tech issues, but make sure you're sharing the channel. Let's get that audience back up. Let's add to this conversation. Appreciate whoever just asked to join the conversation, but we won't be doing that today. We'll do that after the fantasy season wraps up. More than happy to talk sports with you guys, but today we're only answering your fantasy questions. That's where all of our priorities are. Champ Chavez 3 asks, Indy defense or Seahawks Indy kicker or Seattle kicker? Champ, I'd lean just slightly towards the Seattle kicker. Oh Baby asks, Rashid White, Najee Harris, Thielen, Juju, pick 3. I'll go with Rashad White, I'll go with Adam Thielen, and I'll go with Juju Smith-Schuster. Deontay Johnson or Devin Singletary is our next question. I would go with Devin Singletary. Bello 4411 asks Deontay Johnson Bello 4411 asks Thielen or Peoples-Jones. I would go with Adam Thielen. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 5,000 likes. Hit that like button so we can do another quick poll. The Biggest Little City asks Dawson Knox or Kittle. Just because of the weather today, I'm going to lean towards Kittle. Biggest Little City, I'm going to lean towards Kittle. Juan Garza asks, pick 2, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, or Christian Watson. Juan Garza, I'm going to lean just slightly towards Williams and Watson. That's Williams and Watson. Bruno asks, Goff or Jones. Bruno, I would go with Jones. Todd Hall, 1212, asks, Mixon, Moss, or Murray. Todd Hall, I lean just slightly towards Mixon. Brandon Kramer asks, Kenneth Walker III or Isaiah Pacheco. Brandon, I would go with Pacheco. Brandon, I'd go Pacheco. Make sure you're following us and hit that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do a quick poll. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you have questions about NFL Week 16 and it's not fantasy related, we can answer those as well. Game plays, total plays, player prop bets, we're here for all of it. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, Canal 202, Christian Watson or Devontae Smith. I would go with Christian Watson, Canal. Champ Chavez, Colts defense or Titans defense? I'd go with the Titans defense, Champ. Appreciate all of you joining us. Devin Singletary or Rashad White? I lean slightly towards Singletary. Minshew or Geno Smith in the weather? I would lean just slightly towards Geno Smith, actually. Falcons or Ravens defense? Or Falcons versus the Ravens. Well, this is one of my 2 favorite bets of the day. If you want my 2 best bets of the day, go check us out on Instagram at Fumble Sports and on Twitter at Sports Fumble. I love the under in that game. I also like the Ravens, so I would take Ravens on the money line, and I would take the under Mav 1, 2, 3, 4. Dirk Diggler asks Heineke, Folds, or Darnold. Believe it or not, I'm going to lean just slightly towards Darnold. Travis Matthew asks Gano or Bass. I'm going to lean towards Gano. Jason asks 90851 asks D-Hop or Devontae Smith. Jason, I would go with Devontae Smith. Answering all of your fantasy questions for another hour and a half right up until kickoff. Stoned Immaculate asks White, Connor, or Pacheco. Pick 2. I would go with Pacheco and I would go with White. Appreciate whoever just shared the chat. Chess Ninja is going to jump on YouTube. You have a long question. Chess Ninja, I appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribing at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Uncle A4115 says 1 minute until inactives. So we're going to get a lot of information in just a minute. So definitely we will let you know what we hear about the inactives. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. DeBrock asks Taysom Hill under 47.5 rushing yards. That's the question. I'm just going to check a quick stat. I just want to be able to answer that question a little bit better, DeBrock. I mean, with the weather today, I think he's going to be a popular play. That said, I would probably take the under just slightly. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate all the support you guys show us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Pick 2, McKinnon, Devontae Smith, or Kenneth Walker III. Zev Lefkovsky, or Lefke. I'm going to get the name wrong. Sorry, I'm not reading it right. I'd go with McKinnon and Devontae Smith. That's McKinnon and Devontae Smith. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Connor Spur 2 asks, Juju or Cooper? I'd go with Juju. T-Boy 7210 asks, Robinson, Algier, or Lazard? I'd go with Lazard. Najee Harris or James Conner? Mel 6267. I would go with Najee Harris. Rob Clear asks, Rashad White or Pollard? I'd go with Pollard. Answering all of your fantasy questions for NFL Week 16. USMC asks, Hollywood Brown, White, Foreman, Moss must start too. I would start White and I would start Moss. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, we got a question in from YouTube. My question has Pat Mahomes, Dalvin Cook. Oh, your opponent has Mahomes, Cook, Montgomery. Okay, what's the question, though? What's the question? You're telling me what the lineup is. What's the question? Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just a Panther fan asks, start 2, Diggs, Slayton, Scary Terry, or Judy. I'll go Diggs and Slayton. Diggs and Slayton. Okonkwo or Njoku with the weather looking better in Tennessee. Yeah, Ben Roger, I'd lean just slightly towards Okonkwo. The Wild West 5 asks Christian Watson or Godwin. Wild West, I'd lean just slightly towards Christian Watson.
When I picture my
Monkey Man 1114, DJ Moore, Jerry Judy. I'd go DJ Moore. The question we just got from YouTube, I think it's from Chess Ninja. Whatever it is, you got to ask it again. Not worded well. We need to know what you're asking if you want us to answer. Sorry, man. Can't do what we can't do. Greg asks, pick 2 in the flex. Pittman, Montgomery, Ayuk, Dobbins, DJ Moore, or Zeke. Greg, I would go with Dobbins, and I'd go with Zeke. That's Dobbins and Zeke. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Every time we hit a 5,000 like benchmark, we do another quick poll. So if you want us to do another quick poll, hit that like button. DJ Moore or Jerry Judy. Monkey Man, it's DJ Moore. Packers go run the table. Hope you get some luck with that one. Packers run the table. Pacheco or Dobbins. Yeah, we're not answering optimal lineup questions right now. That's we got people who are asking a lot of questions. Roy R9415 asks, Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris against the Raiders. Roy R, I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. Answering some of the questions that we got from YouTube as well. Pick 1, Juju or Minshew. Thanks for the help. If you can collaborate, that would be helpful. I mean, I don't understand leagues that have 2 quarterbacks. So I'm not a big fan of those leagues. I think those are kind of Mickey Mouse joke shows. That said, I mean, I think Minshew's probably going to get more points. He's a quarterback. He's throwing the ball. So I lean towards Minshew, but I think leagues that have 2 quarterbacks, like I said, not really about it. Taysom Hill or Goddard. kind of on the fence about this one. I think I lean just slightly towards Goddard, but I've been going back and forth on it. Cruda's 29, Broncos defense or Titans defense. I would go with the Broncos defense. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Zeke or Rashad White? I definitely go Zeke. Drew asks DeAndre Swift or Zach Moss. I'd go DeAndre Swift. Okay, the question was Purdy for Minshew. Okay, that's a little bit easier to answer. I would go Minshew over Purdy. I'd go Minshew over Purdy. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Mel 6267 asks Hawkinson or Waller. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Hawkinson. One runner 666 asks Cowboys defense or Denver defense. I definitely go with the Denver defense. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter, answering all of your fantasy questions for another hour and 20 minutes or so. Appreciate all the support you guys show us. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. Definitely not Ahmed asks James Conner or Kenneth Walker III. I prefer Kenneth Walker III. Just make sure he's healthy enough to go. Sam Hop 88 asks Goodwin, Cooks, or Lazard. I'd lean just slightly towards Cooks. Lenny Mostert or McKinnon. I'd go with McKinnon. Kenneth Walker III or J.K. Dobbins. I'd go with J.K. Dobbins, Spencer. Spencer, I'd go with J.K. Dobbins. Jam 29, Zeke or Rashad White. I definitely go with Zeke. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Getting another question in from YouTube. Merry Christmas to all of you. Purdy or Heineke? I'd go with Heineke. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Uncle A415, do I ever answer IDP questions? What's IDP questions? What's IDP? Let me know what IDP questions are. I don't know what those are. I appreciate that guys want to come up and join the conversation. We're not going to be doing that today. We're only going to be answering fantasy questions. So appreciate you guys who want to get in the conversation but won't be doing that today. Whoever just did, thank you so much for sharing our channel. Drew asks, Higbee or Freiermuth? I'd go with Freiermuth. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you guys don't just want fantasy advice, but if you want game picks, total plays, player prop bets, I'm here for all of it. At Fumble Sports, we're here to answer all of your questions, so make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. A question in from YouTube, Chris Godwin or A.J. Brown? I'd go Chris Godwin. Miles the Cat 54 asks Cordero Patterson or Deontay Foreman? I'd go Deontay Foreman, Miles the Cat. Truth 69, Michael Carter or Zach Moss? Well, Michael Carter just played, so I'd go Zach Moss. Gordon 8807, Olave out. Who do I start? London, Chark, Cooks, or Valdez-Scantling? Gordon 8807, I'd go with Brandon Cooks. If he's not a go, it'd be Chark, but I'd go with Brandon Cooks. Pacheco, Montgomery, Swift, or Elliott? I would go with Pacheco. Army of 122 asks Zeke or Watson? I'd lean slightly towards Zeke, I think. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate all the support you guys show us. If you're worried that I'm not getting to your question right away, just make sure you give us a small gift. That way, we're going to answer your question right away. A little icon shows up next to your name, so we'll do that every time. Every time I see it, I always answer it. I go right away to that. So make sure you're hitting that gift button, and we'll answer your question right away. And of course, follow us and hit that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. Ryan Hanwacker, thank you so much for your support. Dak or Geno, that's a tough one for me. I'll lean just slightly towards Geno Smith. Ryan Hanwacker. Jack 3B, Look of Sky asks, Pacheco, Slayton, or Moss? I'd go with Pacheco. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. McLaughlin or Tucker? Well, tough win in that game for Tucker, so I'm going to lean towards McLaughlin. Brent asks, Tua or Fields? Brent Flora, 94. I'd go with Tua. Kyle Michael 05 asks, Fields or Goff? Kyle, I would go with Goff. Donovan Peoples-Jones or Deontay Johnson? I'd go with Deontay Johnson. By the way, if you want my 2 best bets of the day, go check out our Instagram account at Fumble Sports or our TikTok account at Sports Fumble. DeBrock asks, Desmond Ridder under 174.5 total yards. I do like that one if it's total passing yards. I do like that under. Dirk Diggler asks, Latavius Murray or Rashad White? Dirk Diggler, I would go with Rashad White. T-Boy 7210 asks, Lazard, Algier, Taysom Hill, or Brian Robinson Jr.? I would go with Taysom Hill, T-Boy 7210. Jersey Boy 375, thank you so much for your support. Your question is Swift or Jamal Williams? I'm going to lean just slightly towards DeAndre Swift, Jersey Boy. Another question we're getting in from YouTube. Make sure you're following and subscribing on YouTube. James Conner or Ramondre Stevenson? I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson would be my answer. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Uncle A415 has some breaking news for us. The Tennessee Titans-Houston Texans game has been delayed 1 hour. The kickoff has been delayed 1 hour for the Titans-Houston Texans game. So that one will kick off at 2:02. Thank you very much, Uncle A415. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the information. Jess Cruz 221. Thank you for your support. Jess Cruz asked Jacobs or Dobbins. You have to start Josh Jacobs at this point, given that he's one of the best running backs in fantasy this year. I think Dobbins has a good game, but I got to ride Josh Jacobs today. Mr. Sammy P asks Gabe Davis or Rashid Shaheed. Mr. Sammy P, both games have terrible weather conditions. I wish you had other options, but of those two, I'd go Gabe Davis. Spencer U10 asks Walker or Montgomery. Spencer, I'd go with Montgomery. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and hit that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. Sam Hop 88 asks Cleveland Browns defense or Cowboys defense? I'm going Browns defense. Morgan Borg 12, Stevenson, Pollard, McKinnon, sit one. Morgan Borg, the one I would sit is Stevenson. I would sit Stevenson out of that group. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Okay, DeBrock, the over-under passing yards is 139. I'd still probably take the under. Dat Boy Sean asks Swift, Pacheco, Sanders, Rashad White, pick 2. I'd go with Pacheco and I'd go with Sanders, Sean. Pacheco and Sanders. Andrew Football 06 asks Mixon or Najee Harris. I'm going to lean slightly towards Joe Mixon, Andrew. We've been going live now for an hour and 45 minutes. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're following at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Jake asks Barkley or Jacobs. I lean towards Jacobs, Jake. Najee Harris or Rashad White. I lean towards Rashad White. Richie Rich asks Goff or Aaron Rodgers. I'd go Aaron Rodgers. Jay Hayes asks Geno Smith or Justin Herbert. I'd go Justin Herbert. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate all of those who are sharing the conversation with others, by the way. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us. Kyle asks, Pacheco or Judy? I'd go Pacheco. Make sure you're hitting that like button after I answer your question. Let's get up to 5,000 likes so we can do another quick poll. We have a lot of fun doing those. And whoever just shared the chat, thank you so much. Whoever shared the channel, thank you so much for your support. That's how we grow up this wonderful following that we have. Grant Turner, 81, asks, Cooks more or Goodwin? I'd lean just slightly towards Goodwin. Just make sure he's healthy. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Jake, thank you for being the one who shared the chat. We appreciate you sharing the channel. Terry Newcomer asks, Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa? Terry, I would go with Justin Herbert. DJ Juju 12 asks Aaron Rodgers or Minshew. I'd go with Aaron Rodgers. We're getting a question in from YouTube. Is Justin Herbert in your top 5 fantasy quarterbacks this weekend? Absolutely he is. I do like Justin Herbert this week. One Runner 66 asks Chark, Goodwin, or Dotson. I lean towards Goodwin. Just make sure he's healthy enough to go. Just confirming the Texans-Titans has been delayed an hour. It's not due to weather. It's due to a power outage. It's due to a power outage. That may be weather-related, but it's due to a power outage. Getting another question in from YouTube. Goddard, Taysom Hill, or Dulcich? I would go with Goddard. Hit that like button. Once we hit 5,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. And of course, share the channel with others. We appreciate the ability to grow through your support. Same Chaser asks Purdy or Derek Carr. Same Chaser, I would go with Derek Carr. User 79408-196 asks Pollard, Zeke, Adams, pick 2 please. I would go with Pollard, and I'd go with Pollard, and I'd go Devontae Adams. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Nathan asks Okonkwo, Hill, or Fant? I lean just slightly towards Hill. Just make sure he's a start. Chess Ninja, appreciate your support. Chess Ninja asks Darius Slayton or Devontae Smith? Chess Ninja, I might lean just slightly towards Darius Slayton, just slightly. DeBrock asks Justin Fields over 76.5 rushing yards for Justin Fields. That's a yes for me. I like the over Justin Fields total rushing yards. Let's actually throw that up on YouTube. That's one of my favorite player prop bets of the day is Justin Fields and his over total rushing yards. I got it at over 77.5. You've gotten that 1 yard less, over 76.5. I like both of those plays. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. DeBrosh, I'm not crazy about Taysom Hill over under rushing yards total. Not crazy about that one. I'm not touching that one. I do like the Justin Fields one, though. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and joining us. Getting some in. Kenneth Walker III is active if you have him. Kenneth Walker III is active today. Pacheco or Rachaad White? I'd go with Pacheco. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Boswell, Maher, Gold, or McPherson? I would go with Maher. Ayuk or Marquise Goodwin? I would go with Goodwin. Thank you, Big Larry B. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Mike Martin, 2323, asks Cousins or Burrow? I would go with Kirk Cousins. Make sure you're hitting that like button as many times as you can. Once we get up to 5,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. Every time we hit 5,000 likes as a benchmark, we do a quick poll. Those are a lot of fun. Jess Cruz, 221, asks Titans defense or Eagles defense? I'm going to go with the Titans defense, Jess. And as for Godwin or Christian Watson, I'll lean just slightly towards Christian Watson, Jess Cruz. Appreciate all the support you guys are showing us. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get up to 5,000 likes. We'll do another quick poll. Pacheco or Rachaad White? Let's do Pacheco. Chess Ninja, how do we find your best bets again? Check out our Instagram account at ButtFumbleSports, at ButtFumbleSports on Instagram, and at SportsFumble on Twitter. You can see my best bets for today's game. I'll also give them away just now. My two favorite bets for the day are the under in the Atlanta Falcons Baltimore Ravens game and the under in the Saints Browns game. I'm leaning into the weather being a major factor today, so under 36 points in the Falcons Ravens game and under 33.5 points in the Saints Browns game. Thank you to whoever just shared the channel. We so appreciate the support you guys are showing us. And yes, Abby, we just hit 5,000 likes, so we will do another quick poll. Let's do our quick poll question. We'll get back to answering your fantasy questions in just 1 second, but let's do a quick poll question. This one has to do with the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. That's will Dak Prescott throw an interception today against the Philadelphia Eagles? If you think he's going to throw an interception, hit the crying face. If you think he won't, hit the smiling face. So yes, crying face, no, smiling face. Let us know what you guys think. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Again, yes, crying face, no, smiling face. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception? Doing a quick poll, then we'll get back to answering your questions. Here we go with our quick poll. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Let us know what you think. Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. Will Dak Prescott throw a pick? Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Doing a quick poll because we had 5,000 likes. Every time we hit another 5,000 likes, we do a quick poll. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. By the way, yes is favored in Vegas. Yes goes off at -135. No at +105. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. What do you guys think? Doing a quick poll because we had 5,000 likes. Will Dak Prescott throw an interception today? Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumbleSports. Only a few seconds left on this poll. Yes, crying face, no, smiling face. And you guys think that, yes, Dak Prescott will be throwing a pick today. I do like Dak Prescott to throw a pick. It's not going to show up as a graphic, but I do like that pick. Davey Wavy 46, as we go back to answering your fantasy questions. Davey Wavy 46 asks, pick 2, Jalen Waddle, James Conner, or Alvin Kamara. Davey Wavy, I'd go with Jalen Waddle and Alvin Kamara. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumbleSports. Hit that follow button. Alex White Jr., Gardner Minshew, or Aaron Rodgers. I'd go with Aaron Rodgers, Alex White. Appreciate all of you guys joining us, supporting us, and following us. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do another poll. Jay Johnson 804 asks, Dobbins or Montgomery? I would go with Dobbins. Answering all of your NFL Week 16 questions. If you have gambling questions, it can be game picks, total plays, player prop bets. We answer those as well. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumbleSports. DeBrock, Kelce for a touchdown. Dak over 21.5 completions. Tony Pollard, 13.5 fantasy points. DeBrock, love those. Love those. Great plays. Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown, is another player prop bet that I do like. That is a player prop bet that I like as well, is Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. Jess Hubbard 12 asks, Hopkins or Swift? I would go with Swift. Rob Newton 342 asks, pick 3, half PPR, Stevenson, Waddle, or Keenan Allen? I would go, well, you're saying pick 3. You just, I would go with Waddle, I'd go with Keenan Allen, and I'd go Stevenson. That's Keenan Allen, Waddle, and Stevenson for me. Maverick Carey asked me to pick 2. The pick 2 I'd go with Maverick Carey are Pollard and McKinnon. That's Pollard and McKinnon. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumbleSports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate whoever just shared the channel with everybody. That's wonderful. Appreciate the support you guys just show us. Mason97 asks, DJ Moore or Jamar Chase? I got to go with Jamar Chase. Lukey Pokey asks, Mark Andrews or Pat Freiermuth? I'd go with Freiermuth. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you have questions not just about fantasy, but about the games to pick, totals to play, or player prop bets, we're here for that as well. Look Breezy asks, Cousins or Herbert? I'm going to lean slightly towards Cousins. It's a tough one for me. I feel both have big games. I think both are top 5 plays this week. Kamara or Zeke Elliott? I'm going to go Zeke Elliott. If you want me to answer your question right away, if you're worried I'm missing it, just give us a small gift. Doesn't need to be a lot. A little icon shows up next to your game. I answer that question every time. If you give us a small gift, I answer your question every time. You can attest to it, those who see me do it. Chubb or Pollard? I lean slightly towards Tony Pollard. DJ Moore or Jamar Chase? Answered that one, Jamar Chase. Not Aaron asks, Connor or Pollard? I'd go with Pollard. Dulcich or Kmet? Bad weather in Chicago has me concerned. I'd go with Dulcich. If you're worried that I'm not getting to your fantasy question or you want an answer right away, just give us a small gift. An icon shows up next to your name. I answer it right away. Also, hit that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. Austin asks, Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon? I'd go Aaron Jones. The Hawk 83, Derek Carr, Minshew? I'd go Derek Carr. Mateo asks, Amari Cooper or White? I'd go with White. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports and do what Austin did. Just give us a small gift. That way I answer your question every time. Austin, answering your question, you asked Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon. Austin, I would go with Aaron Jones. That's Aaron Jones, Austin. Do what Austin did. Give us a small gift. I'll answer your question right away. That way you don't need to wait around. You can slot it into your lineup right away. That's one way you can kind of jump the line. By the way, if you put like other shapes or colors in the question like that unfortunately doesn't motivate me at all. So Camden asks, McKinnon or Pollard? Camden, I'll lean towards McKinnon. D. Weezy asks, Taysom Hill or Schultz? I'll lean just slightly towards Schultz. Because it's a PPR. Tua, Fields or Rodgers? I'll lean just slightly towards Tua Tagovailoa. I'm shaky on the Ritter, 139.5 passing yards. Should I do it? I wouldn't put a ton of units on it, 1 or 2 units, but yeah, I do like it. Dobbins, Najee Harris, or Pacheco? CMG, I would go with Pacheco. If you want me to answer your question right away, just do what Austin did, do what DeBrock did. Just give us a small gift. I see a little icon next to your name. I answer your question right away every time. Yeah, DeBrock, I'm a little shaky on that as well, but I would make the bet. I would take the under. I just put lesser units on it. Mr. Sammy P asks, James Cook or Russell Gage? Sammy P, I'd go James Cook. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Jacob asks, Moss, London, or Osborne? I'd go with Moss. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We've kind of dried up on the likes. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Lil Levy, 2004 asks, Swift or Pacheco? I'd go with Pacheco. Raiden, 2X, Goodwin is good to go. Would you start him over Burks, Richie, Deion? Yes, I would. If Goodwin is good to go, I like him today. He's a start for me. Maverick, I'd go with Pollard because he's got the better opportunity to get points for you. Maverick, I see the question, but I answered it. That's why. I love when people ask the same question multiple times as if I don't see it. No, I see it. I'm just trying to answer other people's questions. Ryan Schwartz asked T. Higgins or Mike Williams. I'd go with Mike Williams. Watson or Heineke. I'd go with Heineke, Ryan. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Whoever just shared the channel, thank you so much. We appreciate that very much. We appreciate all the support you guys show us. Make sure you're hitting the like button at Fumble Sports. DeBrock, Drake London, under 43.5 receiving yards instead. Like that one. Like that player prop bet. Cold Game Benji asks Gano, Carlson, McLaughlin. Sorry, I answered this one. I hate answering kicker questions. Carlson. I'd go with Carlson. I usually don't like answering kicker questions because I feel like other people have more pressing questions. So I try to give people who have position questions that are non-kicker priority. Dylan Salazar asks Brady or Goff. I'd go with Tom Brady. Aiden asks DJ Moore or Devontae Smith. I'll lean just slightly towards DJ Moore. Dylan or Pacheco. I'd go with Pacheco. Cowboys defense or Broncos defense. I'd go with the Broncos defense. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. We have been going for 2 hours straight. We are exhausted. I can assure you, this is a lot of talking and a lot of answering fantasy football questions. So make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you share the channel. Make sure that you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate all the support. We have just 1 more hour to go. Just 1 more hour to go answering all of your fantasy questions. If you're worried I'm not getting to your question or you want me to answer it right away, just give us a gift. An icon shows up next to your name. I answer it right away every time. Don't worry, every time I do it. So if you show us love, we answer your question right away. Getting a question in from YouTube. Derek Carr in cold weather scares me on starting Devontae Adams. Can I start Christian Watson instead? Sure. Dawson Knox or Noah Fant? I prefer Noah Fant. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Mark asks Harris or Swift. I'd lean just slightly towards Swift. iHeart asks White or Swift. I'd lean towards DeAndre Swift. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and hit that like button. If I answer your question, hit the like button. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us. If you're worried that I'm not getting to your question or you want me to get to it right away, just give us a small gift. I'll answer your question right away. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift, and we'll definitely answer your question right away. Jay Boogie asked Johnson or Pittman. I lean just slightly towards, sorry, you asked because I saw the pit. That's what got me wrong. Johnson or Goodwin. I'd go with Goodwin. Thank you so much for the gift, Luis. I'll answer your question right away. If you guys give us a gift, I answer your question every time. Cliff Magnet asked Josh Allen or Tua. I'm going to go with Tua. I'd go with Tua. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift. I'll answer your question right away. Definitely prioritizing those who support us, given that we're down to the final hour. So if you want your question answered right away, that's how it stands out. Magic Eagle, appreciate your support. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. Cliff Magnet, the one I'd go with is Tua Tagovailoa. Cliff Magnet, I'd go with Tua Tagovailoa. If you want me to answer your question right away, make sure you're giving us that gift. I'll answer your question right away if you do that. Luis, your question is Boyd or Sutton. That's a tough one for me, but Luis, I lean just slightly towards Sutton. I lean slightly towards Sutton. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Cliff Magnet, one more time. Cliff Magnet, your question was Josh Allen or Tua Tagovailoa. Cliff Magnet, I'd go with Tua Tagovailoa. Luis, your question was Boyd or Sutton. Luis, I would go with Sutton. I'd go with Sutton. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a gift. I'll answer your question right away. A little icon shows up next to your name. I get to those questions right away. We only have an hour left, so I'm going to prioritize those questions in the final hour that we have. So if you want your question answered right away, do what Greedy One did. That little icon shows up next to his name. By the way, Greedy, you gave us a rose, which was so nothing, as in small, as in we appreciate it, but like the whole point is didn't cost you a lot, and now you get your question answered right away. So, Greedy One, answering your question, Geno plus Waddle and Hill, or Metcalf and Goodwin. I'd go Geno and plus Waddle and Hill. Geno and Waddle and Hill I think is a good play. Okay, user 7964 gave us a gift. User 7964 asks, Burks or Christian Watson? User 79, I'd go with Christian Watson. Cliff Magnet has another question for me. Cliff Magnet asks, do I start A.J. Brown or bench him? I like A.J. Brown as a play. I mean, obviously it depends on who else you have on the team, but I do like A.J. Brown today. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a gift. It doesn't need to be a lot. But I'll that way see the icon next to your name. I'll answer those questions right away. Those are the ones I'll prioritize over the next 15 minutes as we get you ready for kickoff. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. User 7964 has another one for me because he gave that gift. I'll answer every question that they have or he has. User 7964 asks, Christian Watson or Pittman? I'd go with Christian Watson. Cliff Magnet, because you gave that gift, I'll answer another one of your questions. Cliff Magnet, A.J. Brown, Pittman, or Boyd. See, if those are your options, I do like A.J. Brown. Cliff Magnet, I like A.J. Brown. Appreciate all the support. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you want me to answer your question right away, if you're worried I'm not going to get to it, just give us a gift. Doesn't need to be a lot. A lot of these guys, the gift they're giving is like a cent. Isn't a lot, really easy for me to answer it when I see that icon next to your name. User 7964 asks, why Christian Watson over Burks and Pittman? Well, Burks has been coming off a concussion, don't really like him, also has a backup quarterback throwing to him, so not crazy about him. Pittman has Nick Foles throwing to him, so even though Pittman's going to be the number one target, not crazy about him. Meanwhile, Christian Watson, he had been on a touchdown streak until last week, and he had that screw up at the end of the game where he probably should have had a touchdown. Given that the Dolphins are bad against the pass, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to throw a lot to keep them in the game, the Packers in the game with the Dolphins. I think Christian Watson has the best opportunities to get points and a touchdown. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Joseph, thank you so much for the gift. Once you put your question in the chat, I'll see it right away now because it has that icon next to it. I'll answer it every time. User 79, thank you so much for the support, not just the gift, but the praise. We appreciate that very much. If you guys want your question answered right away, give us a gift. An icon shows up next to your name. Those are the questions I'll be prioritizing over the next 50 minutes to get you guys ready for kickoff. Lev Brown 1010 asks, Marquise Goodwin, Zach Moss, or Deion Jackson? Lev Brown, I'd go Goodwin. Goodwin is going to start today. I'd go Marquise Goodwin, Lev Brown. Thank you so much for the support you guys show us. Joseph gave us a gift, so now I can see that icon next to Joseph's name. Answer that question right away. Joseph asks for the flex, Cam Akers, McKenzie, or Richie James. Joseph, I'd lean just slightly towards Cam Akers. I'm going to lean slightly towards Cam Akers. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. If you give us a gift, we will prioritize your question ahead of everyone else's. Greedy One asks, Metcalf or Justin Jefferson? Greedy One, I've got to go Justin Jefferson. I think Metcalf could have a really good game, but Justin Jefferson at home in a 1 p.m. start, I love it. Oh, Trip, thank you so much. We've been trying to get a crown all day. That was one of our live goals, so thank you so much for the crown. Definitely helping us hit our live goal. We'll make sure we answer your question right away. Lev Brown 1010 asks, 49ers defense or Cleveland defense because of the weather? Lev Brown, I like where your head's at. I'm going to lean towards the Cleveland defense because of the weather. If you want us to answer your fantasy question right away, give us a gift. We'll answer it right away. An icon shows up next to your name, so we answer it every time. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. User 7964, Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson? Ooh, that's a tough one. I want to find out one thing. Before I answer that, I want to do one piece of research, so just bear with me for 1 second. I want to see what Tyreek Hill's home and road splits are. Yeah, Tyreek Hill only has 1 touchdown at home this year compared to 7 on the road. So user 7964, I'd go with Justin Jefferson. He's been, he's been better at home this year, so I'd go Justin Jefferson. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us and joining us. If you want me to answer your question right away, give us a small gift. I'll answer it right away once I see that icon. You're playing Hill versus Stevenson. Yeah, I go, you go Hill or Justin Jefferson. I would go Justin Jefferson. I'd go Justin Jefferson over Hill, user 79. Cliff Magnet asks, Jerry Jeudy or Michael, or Juju, Judy, or Pittman. On that one, I think I'd lean just slightly towards Juju Smith-Schuster, Cliff Magnet. Cliff Magnet, I'd lean slightly towards Juju Smith-Schuster. Greedy1 asks, Dalvin Cook or Pollard? I'm going to go Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook has a monster day today, Greedy1, so I'll go Dalvin Cook. Trip 6594, appreciate your support. Trip 6594 asks, Goddard or Waller in a non-PPR? I'd go with Waller. User 7964, what do you think of Herbert and Eckler on Monday night? Love both of them. Think both are a must start this week. Thank you so much for joining and supporting us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports. Army of 122 opinion on Josh Allen with the weather. When it comes to Josh Allen from a fantasy standpoint, I'm not crazy about him. Think it's going to be a tough day in the weather, like the running backs for the Bills more. That said, a player prop bet that I do like today is Josh Allen over his rushing yards total. Josh Allen getting over 49.5 total rushing yards. I like the over. I'm getting that at even money. So I really like that play, Army of One. Not as a fantasy play, but as a player prop bet. User 7964 asks, Hawkinson or Waller? On this one, user 79, I'm going to lean slightly towards Hawkinson. I'll lean slightly towards Hawkinson. User 79408 asks, Fields, Prescott, or Geno? I'll lean just slightly towards Geno Smith. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us and joining us. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a gift. An icon shows up next to your name. I'll answer your question right away, prioritizing those for the next 45 minutes. I appreciate all of you guys joining us, supporting us. You're an unbelievable community. Want to answer all of your questions in the final 45 minutes. Prioritizing those who give us a gift. So give us a gift. An icon shows up next to your name. I'll answer those questions right away. Trip 6594 asks, Deion Jackson or Moss? I'm going with Moss, Trip. I'm going with Moss. User 796463, Hawkinson or Waller? I would go with Hawkinson. Hawkinson would be the play for me. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Chess Ninja, should I pick up Slayton off the waiver wire and play him over Devontae Smith? Who has more upside? I think Devontae Smith has more upside. I'd lean slightly towards Devontae Smith. I know Slayton's playing the worst defense against the secondary, but I lean slightly towards Devontae Smith. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Greedy1 asks, Hawkinson or Andrews? Greedy1, I would go with TJ Hawkinson. I'm prioritizing those who have given us a gift. So give us a gift. A little icon shows up next to your name. I'll answer those questions every time. Trip6594 can attest to it. You're welcome. You show us support, we'll answer your question every time. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. I'm prioritizing those who give us a gift, so searching through, looking for those icons, just like Joseph, sorry, I hadn't seen this before. Joseph, Jawan Johnson or Dawson Knox. I really don't like either one. They're both playing in terrible weather. If you can, in the final 45 minutes before kickoff, I would go to the waiver wire, try to find somebody else. Joseph, come back into the chat. Let us know who some of the options are on the waiver wire. More than happy to get you. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you want me to answer your fantasy question and get to it right away, just give us a gift. I'm prioritizing those who give us a gift, like Bud Woods 10. That way I see a little icon next to your name. I'm going to answer your question every time. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Greedy 1, I would go with Hawkinson. Greedy 1, I'd go with Hawkinson. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift. The icon shows up next to your name. I'll answer your question every single time, just like user 79408 did. User 79408 asked Taysom Hill or Goddard, already starting Smith, Pollard, and Maher. I'll lean just slightly towards Goddard. I know that means you're all in on that game, but make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and give us a gift. We're prioritizing those who give us a gift in the final 45 minutes of the show. Bud Woods 10 asks Swift or Rashad White. Bud Woods 10, I'm going to lean slightly towards DeAndre Swift. Hit that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do another quick poll. But I want to make sure you guys are hitting that like button to get us up there. Trip6594 asks, Walker, Pacheco, Dobbins, Watson, pick 2. Okay, Trip, I would go with Pacheco, and I'd go with Christian Watson. That's Pacheco and Watson for me as the pick 2. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We won't do a poll until we hit 10,000 likes. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Greedy 1, best cheap option at running back? Well, according to our research earlier in the week, some of the best running backs to pick up off the waiver wire were Zach Moss of the Indianapolis Colts. He was owned in less than 1% of leagues entering the week. James Cook, who's owned in less than 50% of leagues. Joshua Kelly of the LA Chargers. He could have a good game. And Justin Jackson of the Detroit Lions. Those are 4 running backs that might be cheap options for you off the waiver wire, Greedy 1. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do a quick poll. Make sure you're following and hit that like button. If you want me to answer your fantasy question right away, give us a gift. I'll answer it right away. That icon shows up next to your name. I'll answer those questions with priority right away. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Appreciate all of those who have been watching the show on YouTube this morning. Unbelievable community that we have, and we continue to grow by the day. Joseph asks, at the tight end position, Dulcich or Okonkwo? I would go with Dulcich. Joseph, I would go with Dulcich. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a gift. A little icon shows up next to your name. I'm going to prioritize those questions in the final 40 minutes that we have until kickoff. I'll be answering all of those questions right away. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble. Whoever just shared the channel, thank you so much for that support. We only grow by the support you guys show us, so thank you so much. Make sure you're hitting that like button to get us up to 10,000 likes. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. You don't want to miss this one. It has to do with a player prop bet that I like and then a game pick that I like. So make sure you're hitting that like button. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift. Doesn't need to be a lot. Can literally be a cent. and that way a little icon shows up next to your name. That way I see it every time when it's in the chat. I prioritize those, especially as we come closer to game time, so I'll prioritize those. So make sure you're hitting that like button, give us the gift, and we'll answer your question right away. Appreciate all of you guys joining and supporting us. Bello4411, thank you so much for the gift. Bello4411, I've seen you in the chat. Thank you so much for the gift. I'll answer your question right away. Perfect example. Bello4411 have been trying to get on the list, but now that I see your name right away, makes it easy to answer. So won't waste any more of your time. Bello4411, I would go with J.K. Dobbins. Bello4411, I'd go with J.K. Dobbins. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at SportsFumble on Twitter. Chess Ninja, what is your best player prop bet of the day? If you want to check out all of my player prop bets, check out my Instagram account at ButtFumble Sports. That's at ButtFumble Sports on Instagram. You can also go to my Twitter account at SportsFumble. You can see some of my favorite player prop bets. I'll drop a few of them right now. I like Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. That's one player prop bet that I love. Another one that I really like is Travis Kelce over 77.5 receiving yards. I like Geno Smith to throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And I like Kirk Cousins to throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Those are a few of the player prop bets that I like. Mario Castillo gave us a gift, so I'm going to answer Mario's question right away. Marquise Goodwin or DJ Chark? Mario, I would go with Goodwin. Mario, I'd go with Goodwin. If you want me to answer your fantasy question right away, just give us a small gift. It doesn't need to be a lot. A little icon shows up next to your name. I'll answer your question every single time, just like user 79408 did. User 79408. Fant or Hill? I'm going to lean just slightly towards Noah Fant. I'm going to lean slightly towards Noah Fant. Greedy1 asks Matt Collins or Cortland Sutton. I'm going to go with Sutton, just barely, Greedy. I'll go with Sutton. Mario is asking about Danny Dimes. I like Danny Dimes today. We only have about 40 minutes left in this chat. Make sure you send a question, hit that like button, share the channel. We appreciate all those who have shared the channel. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift. Doesn't need to be a lot. I'll answer your question right away, just like I did for Mario Castillo. Thank you so much, Mario. Appreciate your support. Trip6594 asks, would you take Watson over A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf in a PPR? I think so. I think I'd lean slightly towards Watson. The only concern is I think DK could have a good game, but I'll lean slightly towards Christian Watson. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift. Doesn't need to be a lot. That way a little icon shows up next to your name. I answer those questions with priority. Of course, hit that like button as well. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll, so you don't want to miss that. That will be related to a game pick that I like. So make sure you're hitting that like button as many times as you can. Once we get up to 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. I guarantee you'll want to participate in this poll, so make sure you're hitting that like button. Again, also, if you want me to answer your fantasy question right away, just give us a small gift. Doesn't need to be a lot. Just like Bello4411 did, gave us that small gift, made it really easy to see them in the chat. I answer it every single time. Bello4411, I'd go with Kenneth Walker III. Bello4411, I'd go with Kenneth Walker III over Leonard Fournette. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at SportsFumble on Twitter, here to answer all of your fantasy questions, all of your NFL Week 16 questions for another 35 minutes or so, making sure we get all of your fantasy lineups ready. If you have gambling questions too, you're running out of time to put in your bets, whether it's player prop bets, parlays, game totals, anything you need, make sure you hit us up at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Ask your question now. More than happy to answer any gambling questions for NFL Week 16. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift. It literally can be a cent, but a little icon shows up next to your name. I prioritize those in the chat, so make sure that you do that. I prioritize those. I'll ask them right away. Croix, yeah, I actually have been answering only the ones that has given us a gift. For the first 2 hours, I was answering all of the ones who are just random, but I am prioritizing those who give us a gift. Given that we've coming down to the final half hour, it's just how I'm prioritizing things. Neil, Merry Christmas to you as well. Appreciate all the support you've shown us. Hope our help over the course of the week helps you win your fantasy matchup. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Loria21, you've been very patient. I would have answered your question sooner, but we just got prioritized with other people. But that was a bit of a tease. I will answer it now, Lori21. I will answer it now. Loria21, I will answer your question now. Even though you didn't give the gift, I will answer your question now. I will prioritize those who do give the gift. Doesn't need to be a lot, can only be 1 cent. Literally 1 cent, I'll prioritize those. So, Loria21, sit 1, White, Pacheco, Monty, or Harris. Sit 1, White, Pacheco, Monty, or Harris. I'm just leaving you, Loria21, I'm leaving you on the edge of your seat. The one I would sit is Najee Harris. Najee Harris would be the one I'd sit. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Chess Ninja, do you play Fox Bet Super 6, the free app? No, I don't. I used to work at Fox Sports, so I don't play any of the Fox Sports betting stuff. I do my parlays on the side. I know too many of the people who work there to participate in that. Amon Neal, you thinking Dobbins or Pacheco? Amon Neal, I would go with Pacheco. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us and joining us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you want me to answer your question right away, just give us a small gift, just like Michael Price Music did. Michael Price Music asks, Mark Andrews or TJ Hawkinson? Michael, I would go with TJ Hawkinson. That's Hawkinson. Okay, I will answer a few questions who haven't given us a gift just because you guys have been so loyal. Make sure you're hitting the like button and follow button after I answer it. Croix Castaneda. Croix, pick two. Watson, Deontay Johnson, Mostert, or Foreman. Okay, Croix, I will pick 2 for you because you have been a loyal follower and listener. I will pick 2. I will go with Christian Watson, and I will go with Raheem Mostert. By the way, thank you whoever just shared the channel. We appreciate all of you guys sharing the channel with others. Demetrius asks, Heineke or Nick Foles? I would go with Heineke just slightly. Hawkinson or Goddard? I would go with Hawkinson. Make sure you're liking us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Michael asks why Hawkinson over Andrews. I don't like the backup quarterback throwing to Andrews. You get Kirk Cousins, 1 p.m. game at home. I think it's a good matchup for Hawkinson. I think the circumstances play to his advantage. You also have some weather in that Baltimore game. I think that impacts the passing game as well. Joe Johnson, 810, thank you so much for sharing the channel. We so appreciate the support you guys show us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Is Kenneth Walker the third a start today? He is starting, yes. I don't know if he should be a start. Depends who you have. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Hit that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. We have about a half hour left. We have been going for 2.5 hours straight. Appreciate all of those who have joined us. We had a couple tech difficulties at times, but appreciate all of you guys joining and supporting us. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we'll do a quick poll. So hit that like button as many times as you can. Let's get up to 10,000 likes. Let's do a quick poll. Come on, guys, hit that like button. Let's do another quick poll. And if you want me to answer your question, I'll prioritize those who give us a gift. So answer that question, to answer your question, just give us a small gift. We'll answer that right away. I will answer the question for I Like Hottie Grannies because they shared our channel. So I Like Hottie Grannies because you did share our channel. I appreciate that support, so I will answer your question as well. You asked start 2, James Conner, Zeke, or Pollard. I like hot grannies. I'd go with Zeke and Pollard. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Joseph, thank you for your support. Make sure you're following us. Joseph's question on defense: Bengals, Chiefs, Giants, or Rams? Aaron Donald is not playing today, but even despite that, I would still start the Rams defense. I would start the Rams defense, Joseph. Appreciate those who are sharing the channel. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports. I am prioritizing those who give us a gift, just like Michael Price Music. Michael Price Music, thank you so much for the support you've shown us. I would lean towards Hodges. Michael, I lean towards Hodges. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Jackson, I'll answer your question. Just give us a small gift. It literally can be a cent, Jackson. Just give us a small gift and I'll answer your question. I'm definitely prioritizing those who have the icon next to their name. But I'll throw in a few random ones as well just to keep you guys in the chat. Tyler Kelly. Tyler Kelly asked Swift or Dobbins. I'll lean slightly towards Dobbins. Chubb or Godwin. I'm going to lean towards Nick Chubb. Walker the Third or Rachaad White. I'll go with Walker the Third now that I know he's starting. Hill, Everett, or Johnson as a TE. Oh, you shared? Grayson, I appreciate you sharing. I'd go with Everett. I'd go with Everett at tight end, Grayson. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Joseph, thank you for the taco. DeAndre Hopkins or Juju? I would go with Juju Smith-Schuster. I'd go with Juju Smith-Schuster. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're sharing. Jackson, you shared. Next time I see you in the chat, I'll make sure I answer it. Greedy, Hodges or Valdez-Scantling? I'd go with Valdez-Scantling. Jackson, Daddy. Okay, because you shared the channel, I'll make sure I answer your question. Jackson, Daddy, I would go with Christian Watson. Jackson, Daddy, I'd go with Christian Watson. Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Jay Bishaw, thank you so much for sharing the channel. I'll make sure I answer your question as well. Jay Bishaw asks, Chris Moore or Marquise Goodwin? Bishaw, Jay Bishaw, I would go with Marquise Goodwin. You can tell I'm prioritizing those who either give us a gift or share the channel, so do either one of those. I'll be able to see, and I'll make sure I answer those questions first. Greedy One, Valdez-Scantling or DJ Chark? I'll go with DJ Chark. Appreciate all of those joining us. I'm Him Jay just shared the live. Appreciate that so much. I'll make sure I answer your question when I see it. I'm Him Jay. I'm Him Jay. Feel free to ask your question right now. I'm standing by for it. Do I like Noah Gray today? No, I don't. Beanie Boy just shared us in the chat as well. Shared the channel. Appreciate that. I'm Him Jay. I'll answer your question now. Pick 2. Dylan, Dobbins, White, or Moss? I'll go with Dobbins and Moss. I'm Him. I'm going to go with Dobbins and Moss. If you guys haven't noticed, if you give us a gift or you share the channel, I'll answer your question. So make sure you do one of the two. Brian, I would go with Devontae Smith. Brian, I'd go with Devontae Smith. Beanie Boy shared us. And so, Beanie Boy, I'd go with McKinnon. It's Jerick McKinnon. Beanie Boy, I'd go Jerick McKinnon. 954 Samuel shared our channel. Thank you so much, 954 Samuel. Appreciate the support. Eagles defense or Titans defense? 954 Samuel, I'd go with the Titans defense. Appreciate all of those who are supporting us. Make sure that you are following us at Fumble Sports. If you share the channel, I'll answer those as well. But if you give us a gift, I'll prioritize those over everything. Andrew just shared the channel. I'll find you in the chat and answer your question, Andrew. Danny shared the channel as well. I'll make sure I answer your question, Danny. Chess Ninja, did you say Geno over 1.5 passing touchdowns? Chess Ninja, yes I did. Geno over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Royce Freeman over 30 rushing yards. I don't like that one. I'm not touching that. Zach Tramp, if you want to be a fiend and go chase some player prop bets, go check out our Instagram account. Jam29, I'd go with Rashad White. Loria 21, I would go with Pacheco. Loria 21, I'd go with Pacheco. Andrew, I would go with Deontay Johnson. Andrew, I'd go Deontay Johnson. Danny, I'd go with Aaron Rodgers. Danny, I'd go with Aaron Rodgers. Michael Prime Music asks, Dallas defense since Hurts is out? Nope, don't like the Dallas defense. Nope, wouldn't start him. I'm Him asks, Singletary or Moss? I'm going to lean slightly towards Singletary. I'm Him, slightly towards Singletary. Evan asks, Fant, Hill, or Njoku? I'm going to lean towards Fant. Joseph, thank you so much for the money gun. Thank you so much. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. The two ways to get me to answer your question the fastest. The fastest is to give a gift. I'll answer your question every single time. But if you share the channel, I'll also answer those questions as priority number 2. Joseph, your top priority because you gave us that money gun. Thank you so much. How do I feel about the passing game for Tua and Tyreek Hill today? I like it. I think they have good games. Denver defense or Bucs defense? I would go with the Buccaneers defense. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. I'm Him. I would go with Singletary. I'm Him. I'd go with Singletary. Michael Prime Music, I would not go with the Eagles defense. I would not go with the Eagles defense. Find another defense on the waiver wire. Just over 40 minutes left before kickoff of NFL Week 16. A lot of action today. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. I'm going to go live later tonight. You don't want to miss my reactions. I'm also going to help you guys out with NFL Sunday tomorrow. We won't be missing because of Christmas. So make sure you're following. Make sure you're subscribing at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, at Sports Fumble on Twitter. If you give us a gift, I'll answer your question right away. Also prioritizing those who share the channel. So if you do one of those two, I will definitely prioritize you above everyone else. And of course, hit that like button. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll, so don't forget about that like button. Wolfpack D best, McLaurin or Higgins? I'd go with Higgins. Trulio, Dotson or Cooper? I'd go Dotson. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Gabe Davis, Chris Moore, or Brandon Cooks, or Tyler Boyd? Liam, I'd go with Brandon Cooks, believe it or not. I'd go Brandon Cooks. Trulio, Dotson or Cooper? I'd go Dotson. Grayson asks, Tennessee defense or Cleveland defense? I would go with the Cleveland defense, Grayson. I'd go with the Cleveland defense. Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate all the support you guys show us. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get up to 10,000 likes. If you want me to answer your question right away, give us a gift or share the channel. That'll get me to answer your question right away. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports. Just 20 minutes left. Joseph, thank you so much for the mic. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. We've been going now for 2 hours and 38 minutes straight. I will admit I'm exhausted, but I'm so grateful that we have this amazing audience. The Fumble Sports community is incredible. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, supporting us. You guys have been absolutely incredible, taking you up until kickoff, answering all of your fantasy and gambling questions. Appreciate the support you guys have shown us. Chess Ninja asks, who has bigger upside today, Otten or Dallas Goedert? Who has bigger upside? I think it's actually Cade Otten. Excuse me. I think it's Cade Otten. I think Cade Otten has the bigger upside. Genoa. I'm going to get that name wrong. Genoa. I'd go Chuba Hubbard. I'd go Chuba Hubbard. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Liam asked, Drake London or Brandon Cooks? I definitely go with Brandon Cooks, Liam. I definitely go Brandon Cooks. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Isaac Castle asked, Christian Watson or Hopkins? I'd go with Christian Watson. Chess Ninja, the reason I prefer Cade Otten is the Arizona Cardinals are the 32nd defense against tight ends in fantasy, the worst defense in the NFL against tight ends. That's why I go in that direction, Chess Ninja. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Demetrius asks, Heineke or Nick Foles? I'd go Heineke. Evan asks, Osborne, Samuel, or Godwin? I'd go with Chris Godwin. No brainer for me. Wolfpack asks, Higgins or Taysom Hill? I'd go T. Higgins. Jay Lopedog, appreciate your support, Jay Lopedog. Panthers or Lions? Okay, on this one, I like Lions on the money line, but I like the Panthers to cover. I would buy the 1.5 and take Panthers plus 4.5. Make sure you're following us and subscribing at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Michael Prime Music, my defensive options are Cowboys, Commanders, Panthers, and Eagles. Which one should I go with? On that one, I think I go with Commanders defense. Michael, I would go with the Commanders defense. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. Make sure you hit that like button at Fumble Sports. Chris Ninja, we put in our research. We work really hard. We are a sports network trying to help every sports fan out there. So we're here for you. Oh, Evan, it's Goodwin. I'd still go with Goodwin, Evan. I'd go with Goodwin, Evan. Evan, I'd go with Goodwin. DJ Moore or Chris Godwin? I'll lean just slightly towards Chris Godwin, just slightly. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports and hit that like button. Let's get up to 10,000 likes so we can do another quick poll. We're almost there. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 10,000 so we can do another quick poll. That'll be around a game pick for today. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Once we hit 10,000 likes, we will do another quick poll. I know we only have a few people in the audience, but we will do a quick poll. Appreciate all of you guys joining us and supporting us. JP Murphy 0 asks, J.K. Dobbins or Watson? JP Murphy, I'm going to lean just slightly towards Christian Watson. Murphy, I'm going to lean towards Christian Watson. Fishing for Tuna, what do I think about Stevenson today? I think he's more of a flex play. I'm a little worried about him. I do think he is worth a start, but I'm a little concerned about him being like an RB1. Because of how amazing and supportive you guys are, we've hit 10,000 likes. So incredible. So appreciate the support you guys have shown us. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. TikTok just warned me. They go, great job. You've been going for as long as you have. Don't forget to take a break. We're not taking a break. We only have 20 minutes left until kickoff. So let's do our quick poll, and then I'll get back to answering your fantasy questions. The quick poll we're going to do. Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team wins today? Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team wins today? Let us know. Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team wins today? Doing a quick poll. Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team wins today? Appreciate you guys joining and supporting us. Which team do you guys think wins today? Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Appreciate whoever just shared the channel. We appreciate that so much. Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team wins today? Doing a quick poll because we hit 10,000 likes. This will probably be our last quick poll of the day. Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team do you think wins today? Make sure you follow us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Smiling face Bengals, crying face Patriots. Which team do you think wins today? Only a few seconds left. You guys have the Bengals right now as the team winning. I'm going to go with you. I like the Bengals, not just on the money line, but I like the Bengals to cover. I would buy the 1.5 and get Bengals -2. Beanie Boy asks, Darren Waller or Mark Andrews? Beanie Boy, I'd go Darren Waller. Jesse asks, Hill or Knox? I'd go with Hill. Make sure you're following us at Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Hattie1029 asks, Montgomery or Higgins? I'd go with Higgins. Make sure you're sharing the channel. Michael Price Music asks, McKinnon or Dobbins? Michael Price Music, I would go with McKinnon. Alex Stanley 367 asks, Drake or Dylan? I'd go with Dylan. Grayson asks, Taysom Hill or Everett? I'd go with Everett just slightly. Appreciate all those who are sharing the channel. Appreciate that, Fishing for Tuna. It's very thoughtful of you, and we appreciate that. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you want me to answer your question right away, either give us a small gift or share our channel, and we'll make sure we answer your question. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Goddard or Everett? I lean slightly towards Goddard. Joe Mixon or T. Higgins? Chill Taco, I'd go with T. Higgins. Only a few more minutes left, about 15 minutes left until kickoff. I just want to give a big shout out to all of you guys for supporting us. You guys are incredible buddies, B-U-T-T-Y. That's what we call, you're a great buddy. That's what we call our supporters, the buddies. You guys are absolutely amazing. Want to give a big shout out to Blease. Blease, I couldn't do this without you. You're an unbelievable teammate, collaborator, partner in how we put all this together. Blease handles our production here at Butt Fumble Sports, our head of production. Blease, you do a phenomenal job. I could not do this without you, so thank you so much. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. As much love as I give to our production team, I couldn't do this without the support of our audience. We are closing in on 28,000 followers. I think we probably passed it over the course of today's show. We have an unbelievable following. Make sure you follow. Make sure you share at Butt Fumble Sports. We're not just here for the football season. We will be here for long into the future. So make sure you're following us. Make sure you're subscribing. That way you know every time we go live. Jay Lopedog, happy holidays to you as well, buddy. Okay, B-Shaw, Lenny or Rashad White? B-Shaw, I'd go Rashad White. We don't have that many questions left in the chat. Make sure you throw them in. We're running out of time here. Just under 15 minutes left until kickoff. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. Demetrius asks, pick one, Pittman, Zach Moss, Gus Edwards, or Fournette. Demetrius, I would go with Zach Moss. I'd go with Zach Moss. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, answering all of your fantasy questions, all of your gambling questions too, right up until kickoff. Only a few more minutes left to go. Chris Moore or Gabe Davis? Dirty Dallas, I'd actually go with Chris Moore. Dirty Dallas, I'd go with Chris Moore. Make sure you're sharing the channel with others at Butt Fumble Sports and hit that like button as many times as you can. If somehow we got up to 15,000 likes, we would do one more quick poll. So if somehow you get us up to 15,000 likes, we will do a quick poll. I will tease this quick poll. It's about two superstar running backs and which one will have more fantasy points today. So if somehow we get up to 15,000 likes before we hit 1 o'clock, we will do another quick poll about two superstar running backs and which one will have more fantasy points today. You don't want to miss this one. So hit that like button as many times as you can. Make sure you hit that like button as many times as you can. Andrew asks, Connor, Pollard, or McKinnon? I'd go with McKinnon, Andrew. G. Baker 33 asks Pacheco or DK at the flex. I would go with Pacheco. Dat Boy Sean, I did my research. I'm benching Miles Sanders. He only pops because the rest of the team hurt with Jalen Hurts. Okay, that might be true in an RPO, run pass option. If you want us to do another quick poll, hit that like button as many times as you can. If somehow we get up to 15,000 before 1 o'clock, we will do one more. This one is about two superstar running backs playing today and which one will have more fantasy points. I promise you, you do not want to miss this quick poll, so make sure you're hitting that like button as many times as you can. Wolfpack, Higgins or Moore? I'd go Higgins. Connor asked, Najee, Kittle, or Hopkins? I'm going to lean just slightly towards Najee Harris. DJ Moore or Davis? I'm going DJ Moore, Fishing for Tuna. Fishing for Tuna, I'd go DJ Moore. Hit that like button. If somehow we hit 15,000 likes in the next few minutes, we will do another quick poll. It'll be about two superstar running backs and which one will have more fantasy points today. Lev Brown 1010. Dolphins kicker, Vikings kicker, or Colts kicker? I'll go with the Vikings kicker. I'll go Vikings kicker. Appreciate all of your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. If somehow we hit 15,000 likes, we will do one last poll for the day. Dirty Dallas asks Burrow and Fields and why. Fields has bad weather and going up against a better defense. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's been red hot on the road. Kamara, Connor, or Pollard. Andrew 3005, I would go with Pollard. Andrew, I'd go with Pollard. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Genoa asks Dotson or DPJ. I would go with Dotson. I'd go with Dotson. Hattie 1029 asks Montgomery or Higgins. I lean just slightly towards Higgins. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If somehow we get up to 15,000 likes in the next 10 minutes, we will do one more quick poll. This one will be about 2 superstar running backs and which one will have more fantasy points today. I guarantee you'll want to stick around for that one. So hit the like button as many times as you can. Let's see if we can get up to 15,000 likes. We're at 13.2 right now. We can do it. If you guys show us the love and hit that like button, we'll get there. Your fave asks Rachaad White or Deontay Johnson. I'm going to lean just slightly towards Rachaad White. Titans defense or Browns defense. Hattie 1029. I'm going to go with the Browns defense. We're almost getting there, almost close to 15,000 likes. Once we get there, we will do one more quick poll. Hit that like button as many times as you can. One more quick poll before we end today's show. We have been going for 2 hours and 50 minutes straight. Can't believe it's gone that fast. I can assure you my voice doesn't feel that way, but I do. I'm Him Jay asks Singletary, White, or Dylan. I lean just slightly towards Rachaad White. Skiggs5 asks T. Higgins or Watson. Skiggs5, I'd go Christian Watson. Skiggs5, I'd go Christian Watson. 1,000 more likes to go. If somehow we get 1,000 more likes in the next 9 minutes, we will do one more quick poll. Keep hitting that like button as many times as you can. Let's see if we can get up there. Appreciate all of you guys sharing the channel. Yeah, I'm very high on Marquise Goodwin today. Very high on him. The Chiefs have been bad against the pass over the last few weeks. They give up a lot more passing yards. So I do like Marquise Goodwin today. Hattie 1029, McKinnon or Montgomery? I'm going McKinnon. We're almost to 15,000 likes, guys. Once we hit 15,000 likes, we will do one more quick poll before we end the show. Can't believe it's almost been 3 hours of show. I can assure you, I am exhausted, but it's worth it to get the kind of love and support that we get from this ButtFumble Sports community. Make sure you're following and subscribing at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. That way you know every time we go live, you never miss an opportunity to engage with us. Devontae Smith or Kenneth Walker III. It's a tough one. I'll lean just slightly towards Smith, lively. Dirty Dallas, Mostert or Keenan Allen? I'll lean slightly towards Mostert. We just hit 15,000 likes. You guys are amazing. I just want to applaud you guys. Thank you so much for the support you guys show us. Let's do that quick poll that we've been promising. Okay. Smiley face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Which running back will have more fantasy points in Week 16? Smiling face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Which superstar running back will have more fantasy points in Week 16? Smiling face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Here's our last quick poll of the day. Smiling face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Which running back will get more fantasy points today? Let us know in this final quick poll of the day. Smiling face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Which running back will get more fantasy points today? Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok and on YouTube. If you want my player prop bets, go check out our Instagram page at ButtFumble Sports. Our last quick poll of the day, smiley face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Smiling face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Which team will get more fantasy points today? Smiling face Nick Chubb, crying face Derrick Henry. Which running back will get more fantasy points today? Going to get back to answering your fantasy questions in just 1 second. But you guys think Derrick Henry is going to have the bigger fantasy day? I agree with you. He's put up monster stats over his career against the Texans. I think it continues. Only a few more minutes of answering your fantasy questions. Mike Fuel, I'd go with Pacheco and I'd go with Walker. Mike Fuel, I'd go with Pacheco and Walker. Luke Campbell, I'd go with Thielen. Luke Campbell, I'd go with Thielen. Yeah, I know. Make sure you're following us at ButtFumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. Foles or Purdy? I think I'd lean slightly towards Foles, believe it or not. White, Dobbins, Kittle, or Hill? I'd go with Dobbins and White. Pick 2 for Broski, 56-53. I'd go with Godwin, and I'd go with CeeDee Lamb. Godwin and CeeDee Lamb. Why did I pick the Browns over the Titans defense? Because of the weather. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and at Sports Fumble on Twitter. I picked the Cleveland Browns defense over the Titans defense because of the weather. At Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Kittle or Hill? I'd go with Hill. Rodgers or Watson? I'd go with Rodgers. Only a minute before we sign off. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports. That way you know every time we go live. Chess Ninja, see you at halftime or after the early games. Actually, unfortunately, we'll be putting out rant videos then. Check us out after the 4 p.m. window. After the 4 p.m. games end, we will go live again. So between the end of the 4 p.m. games and the start of the Saturday night game, between the end of the 4 p.m. games and the Saturday night game, we will go live again for about an hour or 45 minutes or so to answer more of your gambling questions. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. I can't believe how fast 3 hours went. That said, I know my voice is feeling it, but we will be back later today, and of course, we will be back tomorrow. We will go live from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. tomorrow. That's 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday morning on Christmas morning. We will be live again tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for the support. We are not a network. We're not a business without the support we get from sports fans just like you. Thank you so much. You're an incredible audience. Make sure you're following us at Butt Fumble Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, the most important thing that I've said all day, be healthy, be happy, be safe. Everyone be safe. There's some crazy weather out there today. Be safe. Have a great holidays. Enjoy those that you love. We are so grateful that you're part of our community. Have a wonderful holidays, everyone. We will see you later today.